Welcome back, surf fans from around the world. We're here at the World Longboard Championships at the Taiwan Open of Surfing at Jinzhou Harbour in Taitung, and we're continuing the round 3. We went on hold because the wind got pretty strong, but we got 3 hours of surfing to conclude this round, and we're kicking off with heat number 7. 30-minute clock has kicked off. Edouard Delpera from France is surfing against Scotty Fong Jr. from Hawaii. I'm Sam Bleakley, joined by the wonderful Shannon Brooke-Hughes. Shannon, you had a free surf in the little break there. Let's assess the conditions. Who's it going to favour?
Oh, it was really nice to be in the water. Obviously, it's very warm, so nice and refreshing. Not too warm, as some places are, but those conditions, I feel like the swell is starting to pulse a little bit. It feels like it's a little bigger than what some of those smaller, kind of slower heats were this morning, and that tide started to drop out, I think. It was quite high when we were in the water, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty consistent still. The wind is up, so that's the only factor that I would complain about. But it's still really fun and very contestable, as we see Edouard.
Live action here. Edouard Delpera in the red vest takes off, hits the nose, pedals back, and realized that that wasn't the wave he was looking for. You could sense a little bit of frustration in the body language there. Maybe he was expecting it to stand up a little bit more than it was, but our surfer from Marseille lives in Biarritz, where he runs a surf school with his brother Antoine. He is coming up later, his brother Antoine, surfing against Sam Christensen, heat number 9 from South Africa. Sam Christensen could cause an upset here against Antoine, because Sam's opted to ride the single fin in a lot of the free surfs lately. He's very strong on the nose, but Antoine Delpera in round 1 was one of the standouts, looking as sharp as ever, still aiming for that first ever world title. His brother Edward was the winner of this event last year, but it's Scotty Fong Jr. from Hawaii milking this wave to set up for potential nose ride section here. Is he going to get the opportunity to hit the 5? 2 steps to the nose there, gets a nice quick hang 10, but that wave fades out. So both opening rides for the surfers, not setting themselves up for that long peeler through the shallow cobbles.
Exactly, and I think that's where things might get really good and interesting, is kind of those inside runners, if they really start to stand up on that cobblestone reef, as we see this replay now from Scotty. So nice big fade, take off, pumping a little bit to just keep some momentum going into that. That wave went quite flat, and I noticed that in our free surf as well. But there he goes, stuck from the 5 to the 10, and then just can't quite get back off of it. So that wave just goes flat. Going to be really interesting to see wave selection during this heat, and it's going to kind of set the tone for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly, and wave selection is extremely important at Jinzhou Harbour because of it's an A-frame cobblestone break with some really open-faced wide waves, but it's very tempting to paddle deep, as we see Maka de Soto and Ned Snow. Maka is going to be surfing against Kai Salas in the final heat of the round, heat number 12. That's going to be very interesting. Ned Snow sadly eliminated in round 2 against Maka de Soto, but Ned Snow looking as good as ever. I've always been a big fan of Ned's smooth, fluent, Hawaiian style surfing, mixing power and grace, and really put a lot of emphasis on his cross-stepping and footwork. Had he been a bit luckier with the draw, I think he'd still be in this event threatening for a position in the final.
Oh, I certainly agree. It's been great to have Ned on tour for so many years. And like you said, he really was surfing well. It was just that, if you could find the right wave to get the right scores. And there's been quite a few heats like that where it's been really quite evenly matched. And the surfer that happened to be in position when those sets came through for better wave selection was the one who advanced through into the next round.
So a little summary of some of the results we saw earlier this morning. We kicked off at 6:30 was the local time when our first heat started. Well, our alarms went off, some of us early as before 5 o'clock to get here on time to set things up. As we can see, our surfer in blue from Hawaii, Scotty Fong, setting up a nice high line here. Is he going to get that quick 5? There's the 5. Is it going to be the 10? Nice 10 from Scotty Fong there. I can hear a few hoots from down below. The Hawaiian teammates are there cheering him on. He's going to milk this section through, hoping to get the reform. Is it another nose ride opportunity? Yes, it is. Straight up for a solid second hang 5. And can he just get one statement maneuver to end this ride cleanly? Look at the acceleration there. Snaps that back off the tail. Big rebound. Lost him behind the rocks, but it looks like a really strong ride for Scotty Fong.
Wow, that wave stood up much better than I was expecting at the start of it. He kind of struggled to get into that first nose ride, and then once it kind of set his line, started to stand up on the reef, then it really took off and looked nice. The only critique for me is that I don't like that pumping, how hard they're trying to stay with that wave. If they can somehow find that glide, a little more rail to rail rather than that up and down pumping maneuver. But I understand using that for functionality of staying with things.
So Scotty Fong riding the Carl Shaper boards from Hawaii there, sponsored by the Kona Brewing Company. I know his wife back home is expecting their second baby due on the 19th of December. So imagine the glory if Scotty got to take home that world title to the baby that's coming soon. They already have Kupa Oai, who's their son, who in Hawaiian that means to flourish. And I know that Amelia will be listening in. Scotty's wife there, he's a pilot. He has a degree in Hawaiian studies from the University of Hawaii. He did his thesis on surfing and surf culture. And he really has been looking good in the free surfs here. And there's Antoine Del Pero, the brother of Edward, who's out in the water. Edward riding the Minvel Shapes. Both the brothers ride those boards, as does another great surfer, Justin Movan, who actually had to give up her opportunity to compete here because she's also a really prestigious musician, and she had a big concert, and the concert took precedent over the World Longboard Championships this time. But Justin Movan, one of the great surfers coming out of France. There's Kevin Skavana. We've got him coming up in the next heat. That's a very interesting matchup against Peruvian Piccolo Clemente. Very different styles there, goofy foot and irregular foot. I think we might have the opportunity to get Rachel Tilley to come into the booth and do a bit of commentary with you on that heat.
Exactly. So I haven't been able to find her just before this. She was really excited this morning, and then we went on hold and we went off for lunch, and then we came back. She might be in the water surfing. So if we can track Rachel down, we'll definitely get her into the booth, at least at some time today. But it would be really fun with Kevin in the lineup because they've grown up together and they've surfed San Clemente for many, many years. So it'll be good for some inside knowledge on maybe what's going on in Kevin's head. But look at this. Second wave of Scotty Fong Jr. drops in at a 5.0. So that is a solid start to this heat with 25 minutes on the clock. 22 minutes, sorry. Edward Del Pero is now going to be looking for that wave that will offer some good scoring potential.
So he's chosen two waves that he's kicked out of, not looking very kind of comfortable with those two choices. He'll want to get a score on the board. He's our reigning European champion, but right now from Hawaii, Scotty Fong Jr. gets a really critical big hang 10. Can he stay onto this 5? He takes a fall there, but good opening nose ride. The left-hander, it's Edward Del Pero with a really nice tight 5, pulls in for a tighter 5 there. A little foamy this section, but hits a big hard re-entry and then kicks out smoothly. So finally, he's going to be able to replace one of those low scores, but they're not the rides he'll be looking to get. This guy, Edward Del Pero, he won the event here last year. It meant that he went into a surf-off with Taylor Jensen to determine the world champion. He lost that to Taylor, but he had won the event previous to that. So if he wins this event, he will be 3 times Taiwan of Open longboard champion. But right now on your screen, there's that hang 10 to hang 5 combination. If he could have accelerated out of that, he would have been potentially setting himself up for something in the excellent range, Shannon.
Absolutely, as we see the replay from Eduardo. So like you said, good tight 5 on that opening nose ride. Little check turn, throws a lot of spray behind that second one. So good controlled surfing from Edward. Nothing too exciting thrown in there, as that wave didn't offer him that second kind of section, but I like that 2 maneuver combination. You can see our surfers, just some of the guys getting ready for their upcoming heats. There's still plenty of locals down on the beach supporting. It's one wonderful thing about this area is that we get a lot of locals. There's been so many local photographers just peeked up and down the beach to the right and left of our kind of contest setup here. A lot of pretty impressive cameras, actually. It seems like some of the biggest cameras I've ever seen in the world, those lenses that stretch out about 3 feet.
And it's a glorious day for it here on the Tropic of Cancer in Taiwan. We're in Taitung County, and it really is somewhere that I thoroughly recommend you coming and having a surf trip to, because there is a gold mine of waves along this coast. And we're in what's called the northeast monsoon season, where between November and March there's consistent kind of head-high waves. There you see Tori Gilkerson and Jared Neal watching the action, and scores dropping for Edward Del Pero. Gets a 4.33, so it keeps him in the game. He's got a 2.33 and a 4.33. He's actually in the lead. Scotty Fong Jr. has that 5 and that 1.33. Edward Del Pero, the 28-year-old regular footer, born in Marseille, lives in Biarritz, where he runs the Del Pero Surf School with his brother Antoine. He's the reigning European champion. He's the reigning Taiwan of Open double winner, because he won in 2017 and 2016. Other winners of the event have included Taylor Jensen and Tony Silvani. That man on your screen listening to some music is Kevin Scavana, the goofy footer. He's going to be coming up in the next heat against Peruvian 2-times world longboard champion Piccolo Clemente from Huanchaco, which is one of the great centers of wave riding culture in South America. But looking like there's a little bit of frustration in the air with Edouard there. Very difficult to come away from an event being on hold when you're getting ready to surf your heat and then the wind comes up too much. So they discuss with the surfers, the event goes on hold, and then you have to kind of stretch that out, that time. You're not knowing whether you should relax or you should eat or whether you should have a free surf. I did see him, he paddled out and had a free surf, but he's up and riding now. 5 toes on the nose, really strong opening, fast, critical long nose ride there. Trademark acceleration in that low attacking roundhouse cut back there. Drop knee turn, sets himself up with 4 steps maybe. Not quite an opportunity for a final nose ride, but this could be the strongest score of the heat so far, Shannon.
Yeah, it was really good controlled surfing, that nice long opening nose ride, critical in the pocket as we watch this replay now. So nice, quick setup, straight to the nose, right on that 5. Goes for that tight 5, not a full 10, but that's okay as he just gets through that section and managed to hold that nose ride for so long. Good, powerful re-entry into the foam. And one last little check. I like that he was looking for that section, but he didn't force it. He didn't get that kind of nosedive hang 5 that a lot of surfers try and force on those flatter sections, but he just watched for it and got that clean kick out.
Yeah, they're never intentional, those nosedive hang 5s, but they happen to me regularly when I went out for a free surf earlier.
Me too.
Because it is hard, that wide section. After you've had that steeper part of the ride, when you move into that shoulder, if it doesn't stand up, it's very easy to nosedive. So these surfers making it look so much easier than it actually is. 18 minutes remaining. We have Scotty Fong Jr. from Hawaii. He needs a 5.84 to advance into round 4. It's Edouard Del Pero who drops a 6.5 for that last score. It's the highest score of the heat so far. So combined with that 4.33, he's in the lead, but not by much. Scotty only needing that 5.84 to advance into round 3. The loser will get a 13th place and go home with just under $2,000 of prize money, $1,750 to be precise. But the winner advances into round 4. There's 4 heats in round 4, 3 surfers in each heat. Finishers of first and second advance into the man-on-man quarterfinals. Third eliminated with the 9th place. But Edouard Del Pero, 4 steps to the nose. He's up and riding. He's looking strong. He's looking fast. He's got a really long, quick hang 5 there. He moves back to the tail. We always see that low accelerating cutback, rebounds off their foam and dags a rail. I could sense the frustration of his brother almost welling up from below us there. You could almost hear that sense of ghastly, just when you fall at the end of the ride. But it was a good opening nose ride, so it could well replace his 4.33 and put him in a more commanding situation here.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. Antoine and Edouard, they run a business together. They compete together on the World Longboard Championship Tour. And look at those beautiful tight footsteps straight to that hang 5. Like you said, great opening maneuver. Drives into that section, gets that nice slashing cutback, but unfortunately dags his inside rail and goes down. So like you said, probably a bit of frustration. There's a score to come through for Edouard Del Pero. Scotty Fong Jr. chasing a 5.84 to take the lead away from the Biarritz local.
So I really want to see these hang 10s from Scotty Fong Jr. They're something that really is distinctive in his repertoire. So if he gets the opportunity, hopefully that's what he'll do, as we see Cole Robbins in deep discussion there with Antoine Del Pero, talking perhaps about positioning in the lineup. Cole Robbins will be coming up surfing against Josh Constable, heat number 10. That's a massive heat. 2 smooth, silky, regular footers, both known for their speed and their presence and their great control. As we see Edouard Del Pero on the inside here, he's got a nice line. There's the 5, pulls up for a tighter 5, stays on this long, fast hang 5. Really good opening nose ride once again from Edouard there. Readjusts his feet with a bit of shuffling, but accelerates with a big re-entry, a second bang re-entry, climbing off the foam, big sweeping cut back, and then I can hear some claps and hoots from inside. That's a really strong bit of surfing from Edouard. 15 minutes remaining. Shannon, what do you think of that?
I like it. I think that Edouard's got a little fire under him now, because Scotty Fong Jr. got that first big score on the board, that 5-point ride, after Edouard had 2 tries at other waves that didn't produce anything, and now he's in that kind of tenacious fighting spirit as he goes for that hang 5, nice, strong, holding it super long through like almost 3 sections, and then drives into that little turn off the top just to keep himself in position on that wave. Nice, big, powerful off the top there, driving around. Nice rail game. He is in this to win this.
Looking cat-like there, pouncing on every section there. That low attacking stance that we've learned to recognize from Edouard.
Okay, so Edouard's previous wave came through at a 5.33, the one where he fell on that turn but had that great opening nose ride. So that's making quite a statement from the judges, but we're still waiting for his last score to come through, which I'm going to bet is going to be his highest score of the heat so far.
So Edouard Del Pero waiting for a score to drop. He's in the lead. It means Scotty Fong Jr. currently needs a 6.93 to advance into round 4, but the situation might change if this last score goes into Edouard's top 2. 14 minutes remaining here at the World Longboard Championships, heat number 7 of round 3. We will continue all of round 3 today unless the conditions deteriorate substantially. It's pretty likely we'll finish off this round 3. Then all we'll have left is the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the women's event, which might happen all tomorrow, but will probably be spread across Saturday and Sunday. And Shannon, I just heard a big score being dropped for Edouard.
A 7.10 for last of Edouard Del Pero, just putting the distance between himself and Scotty Fong Jr. Scotty now chasing an 8.6.
So let's have a look at this, Shannon. You can see the commitment to the 5. He doesn't get any 10s, but it's the length of the nose ride. He nose rode through that first section. He moves to the back. He does have to shuffle. There is a bit of bouncing and hopping, but he is attacking this section. He looks hungry. He looks fired up. We can see more refinement from the Frenchman. We know that there's a more polished act out there, but the conditions right now are scrappy, and you've got to work hard and fight for it. We saw him catch these 2 opening waves and kick out with frustration, but now he's been attacking his last 4 waves with strong scores represented from that 4, that 6, that 5, and now a 7. Looking strong, but Scotty Fong Jr. is just sitting out there with priority. He needs something big. It's an 8-6, but if he can replace that 1-3-3 and build on the score, then perhaps he won't need something as high as that 8-6. There's plenty of time left. He can stay relaxed. He's looked very relaxed all event in the free surfs, but look at this inside section here. 2 steps to the nose, gets the really nice 10. There's a little hoot from Shannon there. What do you think of this?
Wow, great wave selection. I love that he's doing all of this under priority. I think actually his last 3 scores have come under priority of Scotty Fong Jr., which speaks to his knowledge of this wave. He's a 2-time champion of the Taiwan Open. Great surfing from Edouard, puts the finishing touches on, and he is looking in sync and in rhythm.
So that's a very important point. All of those waves taken out of priority, looking to get that inside section that stands up and steepens off, and we can see the commitment to the nose ride here. Nice drop knee setup. Look at the way he's read that high line, runs up to the nose, pulls in for the 10. The judges are going to like this. Pedals back, gets nice and low. Already the big maneuvers have been performed. That drop knee to hang 10 setup, and just finishes it off smoothly with 4 steps to the nose and a nice tight 5 and some good footwork there. A little bit of hopping and bouncing, but a bang, a rebound off the foam ball as he kicks out into the channel. And will it be better than the 7.01, or will it fall between the 6.5 and the 7.10? I'm kind of thinking it might go higher than the 7.10.
It looked really good, and he got that hang 10. He didn't have the hang 10 on any of his previous waves so far, so he was able to put himself in position for that. His weight was perfectly balanced. He was in the right position on the wave, and we are waiting for a big score to drop in for Edouard Del Pero. I would say at this stage, given that he's surfing this well and knowledgeable in these kind of conditions, that he could be the guy to be out here this week.
So let's have a little recap of what we've seen so far. Look at that nice 5 stretched in there. He didn't get the full 10, but strong nose riding from Edouard Del Pero. These waves coming out of priority, just getting busy, putting those rail on edges there. But it's Scotty Fong Jr. with this really nice hang 10. If he can get another opportunity, Shannon, for a wave like that, he could be in business. But what about this one?
Edouard Del Pero, 5 to wider 5, tighter 5 combination. This is his 7.1. Nice off the top. Comes around that section. Puts a lot more power into that last turn. And nice slashing on the inside. And Edouard's last wave came through at an 8.00, so he is just building momentum as this heat drives. He still has 10 minutes on the clock. I would not be surprised if once Edouard's actually in priority, which he is now, he actually banks himself something higher than that 8. He's snuck all of those waves, his last 4 waves, which has been his 4 highest scoring waves, under priority.
Yeah, and then that's a good message for the other competitors coming up. We can see Piccolo Clemente playing a few games there with Kevin Scavana. I like that psychological approach there. Going for the kind of happy-go-lucky, kind of take it easy. Can he psych him out?
Yeah, right.
But very interesting the way that Edouard Del Pero used that drop knee and set himself up for that hang 10 section, all out of priority, just picking those steeper waves that are welling up a little bit on the inside. So still priority is now with Edouard Del Pero. So Scotty Fong Jr. obviously took a little movement for a wave, lost priority in the time that we were analysing some of those previous rides, but 9 minutes remaining. Scotty's got the opportunity still. Yes, he's in a combination situation, but Edouard's got that 8 and that 7. There's a possibility that in 9 minutes Scotty can do more than that.
Do you think that the flames on Piccolo's arms make him paddle faster?
100%.
100%.
That's one of his trademark wetsuit tops there. Piccolo Clemente, the Formula One of longboarding, the Peruvian 2-times world longboard champion, a cool cap under pressure. He always seems so composed.
Tough to beat for Kevin. This is a massive heat.
Well, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what Kevin's strategy will be, because he likes to surf the lefts, but Kevin sometimes needs to recognize that the rights might be the higher scorers at this event, because thus far most of the big scores have come from the right-handers. We might be proved wrong. It might be that the lefts win the heat for him. But I think if he's willing to mix it up, get some rights and some lefts, he's got a great opportunity of beating Piccolo Clemente.
And here we go with live action. Nice big fade straight into that nose ride. 5-10, 5 combo and down. Hits the eject button. So that doesn't really matter at this stage, though. He's sitting with an 8 and a 7.1 as his high score. He's got one of the highest heat totals of the event so far. Has Scotty Fong Jr. from Hawaii in combination situation, which means for those of you watching back home, Scotty at this stage needs 2 new scores to replace in order to have a chance to catch up to Edouard Del Pero. And the winner of this is looking to advance into round 4. We are currently in round 3. Round 4, we go back to 3-man heats. The top 2 out of those 3-man heats in round 4 will advance into the quarterfinals. So we are getting down to the money end of this event, not just in money, but in points and in world championship titles.
Here's our pilot from Aloha Air Cargo from Hawaii, Scotty Fong Jr. there with a really nice setup here. Is he going to get some acceleration off the tail? Big rebound there, and unfortunately takes a nosedive. I'm not sure what else that wave was going to deliver, but what a sense of frustration there as he comes up from that nosedive. So in priority, Edouard Del Pero. Scotty Fong Jr. really needs to keep busy here. He can be aware that Edouard got 2 of his biggest scores out of priority, so Scotty Fong doesn't necessarily need to go right out back, because some of these kind of mid-sized waves stand up on the shallow cobbles heading right to the left of your screen, to the north of the lineup. That's where Edouard got his scores. That's where he got that 6.5 and then that 7.10 and that 8.0. As we see the replay here, I really love the setup work here, just slowing it down, setting himself up, comes hard off the bottom here, but then just dags the nose there. So unfortunately, taking that wipeout, missing the chance to add to his scoring potential, but there's still time for a couple of rides. As we can see, Edouard Del Pero scrambling north. We'll have Kevin Scavana paddling out very soon. Kevin is uber focused at the moment. He's very tuned into this.
He's right in there.
I hope that he can really deliver with his surfing. We love his style, but look at this Frenchman on the nose there with a really good 10. Is he going to hang on to this 5, gets a little fin slide and keeps control, and then moves to the back and does his big trademark low cut back, but decides not to go for the full figure of 8, just lost a little bit of speed. But I think that fin slide perhaps kind of slowed down the momentum of the ride, but really good commitment to stay from that 5 to 10 and then not lose it as the fin slid out. As we see this setup here, there goes the 5, in comes the tight 5, or is it the full 10? Nice nose work, and then you can just see there the fin slides out, so when he's back here he's lost speed, so he has to pump a little bit, and then he's going for the figure of 8 roundhouse, but just realizes he doesn't really need to punctuate that off the foam. He's already gotten an 8 and a 7-1, and he's looking strong, and he's got 9 rides under the belt so far. The Frenchman Edouard Del Pero, our reigning Taiwan of Open champion, currently in the lead and booking himself a spot in the 3rd quarterfinal. So far in the quarterfinals we have Phil Rasman, Stephen Sawyer, Harley Ingleby in quarterfinal number 1. In quarterfinal number 2 we have Tony Silvani, Ben Skinner and Taylor Jensen. So looking for spots in quarterfinals number 3 and 4 is the second half of our draw. Coming up, it's Piccolo Clemente and Kevin Scavana, then Antoine Del Pero, Sam Christensen, Cole Robbins, Josh Constable, heat number 10, heat number 11, Rodrigo Schweier, Jefferson Silva, a Brazilian matchup, and then right now we're back to live action, Shannon, of Edouard Del Pero, looking strong.
So nice setup for that opening hang 5, goes strong into the foam. Can he make it around this section? Back to the open face. He knows that carve, he just got a little bit hung up on that second maneuver, as we see live action with Scotty on the inside, just pumping his way along, trying to gain some momentum, gets back to that hang 5, hang 10 combination, right in that speed pocket, right over the reef.
That board really accelerates when he gets up on the nose. Those 10s really accelerate for him, so that board looks lively, flexy. It looks like there's 2 big Hawaiians coming up in heat 12. I didn't get to mention that because Edouard was up and riding. That's Kai Salas against Dwayne DeSoto's younger brother, 9 years his junior, Maka DeSoto. That's going to be a really interesting heat. Goofy footer against a regular footer. Kai Salas has been living on the nose in the last 2 free surfs, but Maka DeSoto is a legend of longboarding, as we see Edouard Del Pero getting a nice tight 5 there, quick 10, stays on the long 5, pedals back, accelerates. That low cutback has become one of his trademark signature maneuvers there, and then decides to kick out of that wave as we move into the dying minutes of this heat. Is there enough time for Scotty Fong Jr.? Look at that great bit of nose riding there. What a phenomenal hang 10. Really smooth, solid surfing. Another inside section here. This is going to be a really strong score, Shannon.
Right, so this is that replay. We only saw the finishing kind of maneuvers early on, but that opening nose ride was really nice. As you said, that board accelerates so much once it gets in the right spot. So scores to drop in for Scotty Fong Jr. and 2 scores to drop in for Edouard Del Pero. Current situation, Edouard sitting in the lead with a heat total of 15.10. His second to last wave for Edouard drops in at a 7.07, and that is a throwaway score for him, which shows to you how well Edouard is doing in the water. He does have 1 more score to drop in, but Scotty Fong Jr., this is going to be the question mark. Can he get a score that will touch anything for what Edouard has put down so far? He is sitting with a heat total of 6.77, and we are just waiting to see if he's able to do something better than the 5.0 that he has put on the board so far.
So 2 minutes, 18 seconds remaining there. Edouard Del Pero in the driving seat. Scotty Fong Jr. needing a combination of scores to advance into round 4, but getting a 13th place will be a respectable result here at the World Longboard Championships. We're already down to the semi-finals of the women's division. We've got Rachel Tilley and Honolulu Bloomfield and Soleil Erico and Tori Gilkerson surfing in their respective semi-finals in the women's event. That might be tomorrow, it might be Sunday. We're going to be concluding round 3 of the men's today, and then that will mean we only have round 4, quarters, semis and final of the men's, perhaps spread across the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but we have to respond to the conditions. The wind can come up in the afternoons here, so we want to get those nice clean mornings. We want to be crowning world champions in smooth, clean waves. As we're down into the last minute 25 seconds, Del Pero with a commanding lead there, a 7.10 and an 8.0. Wow, look at all the line of scores there. 10 waves. He's got that. He's dropping a 7.07. Not many surfers have had the luxury of being able to have a 7.07 as a backup.
Oh, that's absolutely incredible. He's really found his sink here. As we see, last of Scotty Fong Jr. drops in at a 6.0, so that does up his heat total, but he still has a big requirement to chase down Edouard Del Pero with under 60 seconds on the clock. Edouard really has found his rhythm, and I would say at this stage he is the guy to beat in this event.
But great surfing from Scotty Fong Jr. there, getting that 6.0 for a really good critical hang 10 and a nice bit of nose riding there. Great acceleration on his Carl Shaper board and backing that up with that 5.0. Had he got more opportunities with the waves, he certainly might have had the chance to advance through this heat. There's a wave being ridden on your screen that you might be seeing back home. We're not seeing that ourselves as we commentate. We've just got a little technical fault on our monitor, so you might be seeing one of the rides of Scotty's life right now. Fingers crossed that he's still in the game here, waiting for a score to drop. It comes in at 3.50, so it obviously wasn't something spectacular, but great surfing from the Hawaiian. Here we go. We just saw the end of that replay, big roundhouse cutback, but really enjoyed watching this fantastic surfer. He'll be going home to his wife, who's due a new baby on the 19th of December, so it's been an honor to have you here representing Hawaii, Scotty Fong Jr. Beautiful surfing, but congratulations, Edouard Del Pero from Biarritz in France, our reigning event champion there, looking strong. Stay with us here for the World Longboard Championships, because next we've got a big showdown between Peruvian Piccolo Clemente and Californian Kevin Scavana.
This is week number 8 of the round 3. Next week number 9, getting ready. Antoine Del Pero in red. Sam Christensen in blue. Yuri is going to run in 29 minutes. Ready for riding on the nose, Piccolo Clemente from Peru. Still riding, looking for something. That was the opening ride for the surfer in red, Piccolo Clemente, two-time world champion.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you've just tuned in, your timing couldn't be better. You've got Piccolo Clemente from Peru surfing against Kevin Scavana from California, USA. With 27 minutes remaining, it's round number 3 of the Men's World Longboard Championships. I'm Sam Blickley, joined by Shannon Brooke Hughes. We've just seen Edouard Del Pero take a win. Who do you think the favourite in this heat is, Shannon?
Wow, I mean, I want Kevin to win, but I think Piccolo is going to be very difficult to beat. I would put my money on Piccolo. Sorry, Kevin, you're going to re-listen to this later on, and you're a good friend of mine, but Piccolo he just seems to be on a roll this year, and he's really solid. He's good in all types of conditions. I'm hopeful that Kevin can find that rhythm, though. Get that old school style channeled in. Find the pockets on the rights, but then see if he can get a left that really has some power and links together.
So let's see what Piccolo has delivered there. He gets set up, a little bit of hopping and bouncing, but he gets 2 steps up to the nose, little nose dag there, but pedals back and keeps control, accelerates through this section here. Is he going to get some open face? It doesn't look like he is, but has a little rebound there. Oh, he does milk this one through to the inside, so he did get a couple of maneuvers to finish things off there. It won't be a keeper, I doubt. It's a 2.40, so he'll be looking to replace that score ASAP, as we can see the beautiful blue water here at Jinzun Harbour in Taiwan. Kevin Scavana in the blue singlet there. He's to the left of your screen in red. We can see Piccolo Clemente, our 2013 and 2015 World Longboard champion. Both won on his backhand at left-handers. His local spot, Juan Chaco in Peru, is a famous left-hander there, so very comfortable surfing on the lefts, but surfing against the goofy footer, Kevin Skavana. Nice peaky wave walling up there, but Skavana doesn't want to take that. It's backing off too much. Wave selection is key today. And right now we're going to go down to a post-heat interview with the winner of our last heat, Edouard Del Pero from France.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sam. Down here with the winner of the last heat, Edouard Del Pero. And, mate, you caught plenty of waves. You had all sorts of 4s, 5s, 6s that you're throwing away, so pretty comfortable out there.
Yeah, well, difficult to figure that out because the waves are tricky. When you're sitting outside, you don't see it pretty well. So, yeah, it took me a little bit of time. The first wave, I thought it was a wave and just disappeared, so I just took my time. I kept myself busy, but just trying to figure it out, yeah.
And we went on hold for a couple of hours before your heat. How hard is it to stay focused for those 2 hours?
Yeah, it's okay. Like, it's been here like this for like a couple of days right now, just like a big rest in the middle of the day, so just having a little bit of sleep at home and just get back and get ready.
And the French contingent, you guys are all supporting each other and giving each other plenty of advice. Must be great travelling as a team.
Yeah, it's cool. We are a super good crew, strong crew, and it's good, cool to share that with friends and family.
Any words in French to your family back home?
Ouais, merci à tous de nous suivre. Je pense que c'est le matin en France, donc il doit y en avoir pas mal devant la télé, devant le live. Donc voilà, bonjour à mon père qui doit être le premier supporter. Et choix, à l'aise.
Okay, well, bon chance for the rest of the event. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Well, allez le bleu, as they say to the World Cup winners. If you're a football fan, you'll know that France are the reigning FIFA World Cup champions. And will the French be draping the tricolour over the WSL World Longboard title here? Antoine and Edward both looking very strong, but a replay of Piccolo Clemente. What do you think of this, Shannon?
Love that stand tall hang 10. Looks like a hood ornament. Big, strong, powerful surfing off the lip, but just like going with what the wave had to offer there. He wasn't forcing it. He was just riding up the lip of that wave. Gets a little check turn on the inside here and a clean, snappy kick out. Kevin Skavana, though, going left, not a surprise in the slightest. Reading that wave beautifully. Look at this wall standing up in front of him. So nice critical section for that opening nose ride. Kicks a little bit out the back, but manages to stick the landing on that little roller coaster re-entry as Wingnut would deem it. So scores to come through for both Piccolo and Kevin. This heat is underway. We've got 23 minutes on the clock. These are 30-minute heats with 2 guys in the water. That gives plenty of time for good set waves to be had and for that patient game to be played.
Good start there from Skavana, the 20-year-old goofy footer, originally from San Juan Capistrano, Orange County, a regular at North Jetty Oceanside and studying at Saddleback College, where actually Lindsay Steinreide is a professor of physical education. Kevin told me that he's interested in doing a degree in business, so he's looking at which universities to apply for. He's riding his CJ Nelson designs, shaped by Ryan Engel, and he just finished second on the WSL North American Tour, getting second position in a man-on-man final to Tony Silvani. That's a great result for Kevin, his best competitive result thus far as we see him on a wave. Is he going to go right? Is he going to go left? Goes backhand on the right. Really nice footwork up to the nose there. Tight, critical 5 out for the second 5. Can he hang on? He's going to have a nice reform if he can keep a high line here. This is really good. Classic longboarding from the Californian Skavana. He wants to keep in control here. Just got a little bit stuck in that section, but great opening nose work. Maybe one last section here for a little bit of tip time. Is he going to get the 5? Nice, smooth surfing from Skavana there in the blue singlet. He's going to add to his 4.5. It could be a pretty decent score, Shannon.
Wow, that was great surfing from Kevin. I love seeing that as often as he goes left and he's clearly comfortable on his forehand as a goofy foot, that he looks just as sharp on his backhand.
The heat is on 100% here because we're waiting for 2 scores to drop now. Clemente just had a ride. He's going to add to a 6.17. It's a 0.4, so it won't go into his top 2. But let's have a little analysis of this. I love the setup. There's that really good 5. Look at the acceleration on this board here. Nearly loses it on this little setup here, but does get the opportunity to just get one little sneaky 5. Doesn't quite make the 5 there. So far we've got those really good footworks and that nice 2 opening nose rides. Looking for one more opportunity to get a nose ride there. So everything looking very classic, very stylish, but will the judges bring the score up that much because of the lack of length of time on the nose in the critical section of the wave?
Right, re-watching that and noticing that he did miss those last two sections. He was obviously ready for it, setting himself up well, but the wave just didn't present itself. I think that will hinder the score just a little bit as we see this replay from Piccolo. Straight to the hang 5, hang 10 combination. How long was that hang 10? It's got to be one of the longest, and a second one now.
Oh my golly, that was 3 hang 10s. A completely different board design from Piccolo Clemente. A lot of nose kick, a lot of rocker, wide in the nose, narrow in the tail, light glass job, 3 fins. The contrast to Kevin Scavana's board is that it's flatter, it's bigger, it's wider, it's longer, it's got 1 fin, but nevertheless, Peruvian Piccolo Clemente with a trio of hang 10s, dynamic, very, very strong surfing, waiting for scores to drop. Definitely going to be something big for Piccolo. What did we get for Kevin's last wave?
Kevin's last wave comes in at a 5.1, which is a great score to put on the board this early in the mix. But look at this replay of Piccolo.
So
he gets 3 perfect hang 10s.
Well, there's a lot of water coming up in front of his board, so they're not perhaps he's done much better hang 10s, but considering the quality of the surf and the fact that he's wearing a singlet here at the World Longboard Championships, he's got to put it all on the line under pressure. That was pretty impressive. But as you said, 3 really strong hang 10s, and really interesting to see the different dynamics of the way the boards move across the wave. See how Kevin's board, it kind of drops down into the wave when he's on the nose, whereas Piccolo's board uses more of the stool techniques where things cushion it and it lifts it back up to slow it down. So completely different science of the way the boards are locking into the nose rides from both of these surfers. A very great opportunity to see different styles together at the WSL World Longboard Championships, and saying out there to young surfers that there are many ways you can ride a longboard, but you can get rewarded for your different approaches here as long as you're committed to that clean, controlled surfing on the nose and setting up for those nose rides through good maneuvers. As we see, unfortunately, Kevin Scavana then nose diving. Piccolo Clemente gets a 717. What about this one, Shannon?
Nice quick footwork. Look at that hang 10. Lots of air underneath, as we've been talking about, rather than pushing water with it. Good controlled cut back into the foam. Seems like not the greatest wave selection as far as the finish of it, but that was just brilliant surfing at the start.
This heat is electric. This is a very interesting battle of styles here. So Clemente gets a 617, backs it up with that 717. Those 3 hang 10s, yes, they were spectacular, but interestingly, the judges didn't push that all up into the excellent range. The field is still open here, but look at this 10. Different type of dynamics with the way the board drops back down into the wave on the 10. There's the 5, there's the 10. See, dropping back down rather than lifting back up. So very hard to hang on to that 10. That kind of board at a spinning point break like Noosa or Malibu would just lock in and then it would lift up. But at these mushy beach breaks, it's actually really hard to hang 10 on a board like that.
Oh, it's so difficult. I was riding a board out there in the free surf that was kind of similar to this, but look at how much control he has. Those toes fully clinched over, like you said, on the descent, which is really difficult, but that's what this board is going to do in these kind of conditions, and he is really making it work.
That was a really critical bit of nose riding there. I used the phrase mushy beach breaks. This isn't a beach break. It's a cobble bottom spot, and it's a great wave, but right now there is wind on it, so the sections are mushy. So to find those clean, open walls is key, and setting yourself up to allow the fins and the tail to lock and hold and allow that cushioning underneath the noses. Here we go, one more ride for Kevin Scavana. Here's the 5, there's the 10, hangs on, pedals back so cleanly, great footwork there, setting up another high line, another 5, really good surfing there, gets another 10, brilliant longboarding from the goofy footer from Southern California. Look at this, look at the body language and the kick out. This is a great heat as we expected, as we see a big, powerful, aggressive tail approach from Peruvian Piccolo Clemente. 2 contrasting styles here, Peruvians attacking from the tail, Californians gliding through the footwork at the nose.
Wow, I'm loving this. Like you said, such a contrast of styles of surfing, contrast of boards, but they are both doing so well. A little paddle battle to see if Kevin can get out into the lineup for priority. I've got to say that Piccolo is probably in position for it.
What more could you ask for, Shannon Brook Hughes? This is a great heat. Paddle battles, exchanges, goofy foot versus regular foot. Really great surfing. 3 scores to drop from the judges. Very important scores because they really need to hone in on the degree of difficulty. That's what is so key here, is the judges need to focus on the degree of difficulty of what they've seen here.
Now they're still waiting on Kevin's last score. They're really debating this, which I love. They didn't just throw something out straight away. They're looking at that difficulty, at the technicalities behind it. Take us through this replay of Piccolo.
So 2 quick steps to the nose, staying nice and high in the wave, not nose riding down in the low pocket as Kevin was, in a big sweeping, aggressive, progressive tail turn there, and rebounds bang off the foam. You can see the flex, the buoyancy of that board. It's light, it's lively, it's very different to the equipment that Kevin Skavana is riding, but Piccolo looking so good on that board, as we see. Really nice setup with a good strong hang 10, dropping down into the deeper pocket of the wave. Watch the way on the nose there, the board drops back down into the wave, nearly dags it but hangs on there. Degree of difficulty very high, and a beautiful drop knee there as he kicks out smoothly. So a 5.23 rewarded for Kevin's last wave. We're still waiting for another score, so they obviously honed in on that one particular hang 10, and they gave that particular moment of 5.23 because that's pretty much all that happened on the wave, but the degree of difficulty was extremely high.
Exactly. If Kevin had been able to put some combination surfing together, string together a variety of maneuvers, that score would have certainly reached higher and maybe touched up towards that 7.17. But for that one nose ride, just the 5.23, which is an excellent score for a nose ride.
But in that last wave, which we're waiting for scores to drop, there were 2 10s. There was a little bit of a lack of control in the setup for the second 10.
Yep.
But maybe it's going to come out as a higher score and be Kevin's highest score of the heat so far. But we're also waiting for something to drop from Piccolo Clemente. I don't think it's going to be his highest score so far. I doubt it'll even replace his 6.17, but you never know. Currently, Clemente in the lead, Skavana in second. 2 scores waiting to be processed by the judges. They might have to put that on hold while they watch to see if one of the riders chooses to take this set. Is Clemente with priority, but Skavana's going to go for it. Clemente doesn't want it. Skavana's got that nice stall set up there. There's the 5. There's the tight 5. There's a radical 10 with a big soul arch and a quick pedal back to the tail. And can he use the flow of that board to trim through this second section? Gets another 10. He just needed to hang on there. If only he could have just kept that simple enough to flow through. But what a ballistic nose ride on that opening section, and caught out of priority. But it's Clemente who's still in the lead. Skavana needing an 8.11, 2, 3 scores now waiting to drop. What do you think about this nose ride?
Oh my goodness, just love. Look at how critical that hang 10 is. Sets up for this next section, and this is where it all just goes south. He gets to that hang 10 once again. I like that he's trying to put everything on the line here.
Let's have another look again. All of those setups there, bang, there's the 5, and then hey presto, magic feet. Look at that. If that doesn't make the highlights reel, I'm not sure what will. That was a beautiful bit of backhand nose riding from Kevin Skavana, but we're still waiting for 3 scores to drop, and it's not just those single moments. He needs to have those extra elements to add to these critical nose rides. Like we saw earlier, he was delivered a 5.23 for one wave that had a very challenging high risk hang 10, but he just needed something else to really bring it into the excellent range. 13 minutes 9 seconds remaining. Clemente still in the lead, but 3 scores waiting to drop here as Clemente sits out there with priority in the beautiful blue water of Taiwan County. The sun has been shining strong today. It's actually one of the warmest days we've had of the event thus far. Skavana having a little look at that wave, but deciding he doesn't want to take that. But there's still time, so he really needs to listen to the scores that come through and then reflect on it and think, right, what do I need to do to get the scores I need? As we see Piccolo Clemente there on a foamy section, but a really long 5, pulls up for a quick tight 5. It wasn't perhaps the full 10, but nice quick footwork and maneuvering as he pedals back to the tail and slashes back and forth and up and down, accelerating with that flexy lightweight board, perhaps even just a single 4-ounce glass, maybe single 6-ounce, certainly looking lively under his feet and using that flex to spring through sections and spring through turns.
Absolutely. So 12 minutes on the clock, 5 scores to come through from the judges. We've got blue stars all over our screen here as we're reporting back to you. And I'm just thinking back to China. Sam, we were there for the ISA World Longboard Championships. Kai Salas took the win so convincingly as the ISA World Longboard Champion. But Kevin Skavana was the name to beat the entire event. He had that electric feel to him, and I think he's got that today.
So look at this setup on the left-hander there. 6 steps up to the nose, gets a quick 10 there, pedals back there, nice laid back, but just takes a fall. There's some of these extra turns that are just letting Skavana down. I don't know whether that's nerves or just the conditions, but look at the commitment to that 5 there. Pulls up nice and tight. So scores coming in, a 5.93 for 3 waves back from Skavana. I'm sure surf fans at home, you're getting a little bit confused as to which score has been delivered for which wave. Right now we're seeing Piccolo Clemente there. We're waiting for 2 scores still to drop of him, but it's all there online at Facebook Live or on the WSL website. Stay watching the action. Look at all these scores coming through. 11 minutes remaining, still awaiting for 4 scores. Is Skavana still in the game, or is everything going in Clemente's favor here, Shannon?
I think it's going in Clemente's favor. Now that 5.93 that came through was wave number 5 for Kevin. He's got 2 more scores to drop in, so he's had 7 waves total, but that 5 was the combination of 2 hang 10s. A little bit out of control, as we were saying before, but he had that good hang 10 out the back and that solid one in the middle. I think that may have been his best wave so far, although he had that excellent super critical hang 10 that Lewis definitely needs to put in the highlights reel on his 6th wave.
I would have loved to have seen what the score could have been if he didn't stumble between that setup on the second 10. I think it was perhaps the lack of control that pulled that score down, but there's still time here as Kevin Skavana sets himself up. He's getting a nice line here, trim line. There's the 5, pedals back to the tail, gets back on the 5, big acceleration off the board, takes a fall. Clemente's out back, 10 minutes remaining, 4 scores waiting to drop. Clemente in the lead, Skavana needing a 7-4-1 to advance into round 4. Big crew of fellow competitors there. Rory McDonald from Kenting, Alfonso Peters. I've invented a name there. The mighty Alfonso Silva sounds like a surfing superhero.
The combination of Jeffson and Alfonso.
If you review this, Alfonso Peters, I've given you a new name, Alfonso Silva. We see a little recap there of a beautiful hang 10. So this is some of the action that's happened already. Look at the footwork there, staying nice and high. There's that 10 from Piccolo Clemente. This was the 7-1-7 where he gets 3 hang 10s in a row. But it was different nose riding dynamics, the way the board sits in the wave compared to the way the Kevin Skavana's board sits in the wave when he does the 10. See how that's lifted out and dropping back down into the section. So very interesting heat to study to see how the science of nose riding happens based on different board designs. It's not just the nose, it's what is happening in the tail, the rail, the fins. It's the way the board sucks back into the pocket, the way the nose cushions and gives you lift. But an essential factor, of course, is the skill of these riders, and it's very difficult wave to nose ride critically here. It's easy to get those kind of soft 5s, but to do the critical 10s, it's not easy. As we see Piccolo Clemente, our heat leader, setting himself up with another long hang 5 there, just driving through this section on the 5, looking to hop and bounce through this, bangs it hard, almost at 12 o'clock, off the top, drops back in, pumps and accelerates and rebounds off the foam with his flexi lightweight board and kicks out smoothly there. Clemente, our heat leader.
So big paddle out for Piccolo Clemente. Some of those big sets still coming through. Kevin is having a scratch out the back, so there must be something on the horizon, and there it is on our screen. Love that big wide angle. You can kind of get a feeling for the setup here. They're going to be sitting to the left side of our container, hoping for those big rights to open up. So Kevin, nice cruisy. Love that little fade takeoff. Just reading what this wave has to offer. Nice tight footwork. Gets back to that hang 5, hang 10 combination. Can he maintain control? That's what he needs to do to stick these bigger scores, is keep that control factor and put the finish on. Nice controlled hang 5 all the way through into that inside section and a clean kick off.
So we're still waiting for a lot of scores to drop. There's so much for the judges to study. We can see Stephen Sawyer there. He's watching. Leanne McDonald, our local Taiwanese surfer there. We can see Crystal Hewlett on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scores waiting to be dropped as we get a replay now of Skavana there. That's a lovely setup there, using the footwork to keep the board trimming. There's the 5 coming into action right now. Pedals back, keeps a nice high line there. Nearly loses it, but stays committed and then just takes a fall. So let's have a little replay of Clemente there. Fades it and then sets up with 2 steps and then just stays strong on this 5, just pushing water as he goes through this, pedals back to the tail and then accelerates with some vertical surfing.
Did you notice Kevin's little hand motions in the background? He was signaling, you know the way that we cross step and we kind of signal that with our hands, like if we're teaching someone how to surf and you teach them how to cross step. I feel like he's really trying to motion to the crowd, to the judges, to pay attention to the tight footwork, and that's something that Sam and I are really passionate about. We want to see cross-stepping. We don't want to see any shuffling, and Kevin was definitely making some kind of statement that he wants people to pay attention to.
So great footwork from Magic Feet Kevin Skavana there. He still needs something in the 7 range. To be precise, a 7-4-1 to move into the 4th round. He's fighting for this. It's great to see that competitive spirit from Kevin Skavana. I know he was fired up from his career best result in the LQS event in Puerto Rico at Domes on the north coast there in the Caribbean islands, but it's Peruvian Piccolo Clemente who is our 2-times world longboard champion, and if the situation remains unchanged, he is booking himself a position in that round 4 heat, surfing against Edward Del Pero, and the winner of the next heat that would either be Antoine or Sam. So if Antoine Del Pero wins the next heat, he'll be surfing with his brother Edward in heat number 3 of round 4. But there's 5 minutes 35 seconds remaining. It's still all to play for. As we forecast, this has been one of the heats of the event so far. In priority, Piccolo Clemente on a really nice open face. There's the 5, there's the 10. Beautiful soul arch from Clemente. Nearly dags the nose, but accelerates off this big foam ball rebound. Big sweeping cutback, slows it down, loses his rhythm, and you could see the horror that he fell then. He was frustrated with himself, but a really good nose ride. I'm expecting to see some good nose riding from this man, Sam Christensen. He's been looking very good.
Oh, he's been looking so good. Love that, that team dynamic. The South Africans coming together. Alfonso, Steven, Crystal there in the background, just cheering each other on, giving each other some insight. Steven won his round 1 heat earlier today, I think, with something in the 15 maybe point heat total. So he had 2 7s on the board this morning. So Steven is definitely a guy to keep your eye on for the rest of this event. Someone who's really focused on that tight footwork, something that Sam Christensen is passionate about. He's focused on even getting to switch stance now. So he takes off goofy. He's a goofy foot, but he's really focused on mixing it up as well. Sam Christensen getting rid of paddle. Love that pink board. I think he was free surfing that yesterday afternoon when we were in the water. And
good.
Just getting a feeling for something different. He hadn't had it yet, but he was looking sharp on it.
Yeah, I was really impressed. So, 4 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Let's catch up with the action here. So, Skavana, he needs a 7-4-1 to get into the round 4. He so wants to get into that round 4. He's fired up. He wants to say to the world he's a threat for a world title. He wants to evoke the great goofy foot longboarding of the mighty Joel Tudor, our 2-times world longboard champion. He wants to bring that classic approach to footwork, flow, nose riding right to the forefront here, as we see Piccolo Clemente, our heat leader, to the right of your screen there. He's in second priority. So Skavana has got the pick of the waves available. These are our next 2 competitors. We got from France, Antoine Del Pero in the red vest. From South Africa, Durban to be precise, we've got Sam Christensen in the blue vest there. Can Skavana get another opportunity to get the score on the board? The judge is catching up with scores now. Lots of 3s delivered for Skavana thus far. Nothing that's gone into his top 2. So he's still sitting with that 5.93 and that 5.57. But I really admire his commitment. He hasn't given up. It's been a battle, and the conditions are not easy this afternoon. It's bumpy, it's choppy. Reading the line on the wave has been really key, but Piccolo Clemente seemed to do the business on that ride where he had those 3 hang 10s. That was the most highest scoring ride of the heat so far. Again, he's back up on the nose there, toes curled right over in a big bolt upright hang 10, followed by some snappy tail surfing and a little kick out, knowing that that won't go into his top 2 scores. But with a 7.17 and a 6.17, the pressure is still on Skavana to get that 7.41.
I am so excited to see Kevin at Noosa in March. I think for the start off of the World Longboard Tour is going to be an excellent spot for him to showcase his classical surfing, the boards that he loves riding. Getting on those clean right-hand point breaks is going to be absolutely amazing, but he has really brought it all today, as we see Jefferson Silva and Atalanta Batista, both from Brazil. Jefferson coming up in heat number 11 up against Rodriguez Fair. So 2 Brazilians will be in the water later today, as we see the Peruvian perfectly perched on that hang 10.
I mean, you can't take the coolness away from Piccolo. He's so relaxed under pressure. He's so smooth. And he really is one cool cat, and that's why he's 2-times world longboard champion. And it's looking like he's got his spot in round 4, unless Skavana can get the 7.41 that he needs. I know Skavana's been so focused. He's been listening to music. He's been getting into the whole feng shui of everything here. He's really determined to have a big result. So to cope with the frustration of being in the dying couple of minutes, needing a big score, that's not easy.
That is not easy at all. Hopeful. There is a little bump on the horizon. It doesn't look like anything that's going to stand up for one of those big, powerful waves. You can see him having a paddle towards the south end of Jinsun Harbor out front Is it going to be too late, though? There doesn't seem to be too much action. He's having a look around. I like that he's sitting in priority. There's no pressure from that side of things to try and have Piccolo in his space in any way, but he really...
There's a little lump out there, Shannon, isn't there? Yeah, so that looks promising. We've got just over a minute, 8 seconds. As long as he doesn't make an erroneous move and lose his priority, he's got to be very distinctive that he's not going for a wave that Piccolo could have caught. He's in priority. Is he going to go for this one? Is this the set he needs? He's looking for a 7-4-1. Kevin Scavano, the goofy footer from Southern California, sets up with 4 steps to the nose. There's a nice 5. There's a nice 10. He needs to keep this clean, solid, and strong, but he needs to do the maneuvers. He can't fall, and he needs one more critical maneuver here. Unfortunately, just didn't quite have the flow with that wave. Good opening 5, but perhaps what let him down was just the line of that wave. It just didn't open out for him to allow that 7-4-1.
Absolutely. Great effort put in from Kevin Scavano. Family would be definitely tuning in back in California as we see this replay. Sets himself up for a great hang 5, hang 10 combination on the start. But this is where he's trying to get to that nose again, and that wave just doesn't give him the opportunity.
So great surfing from Scavano, but congratulations, Piccolo Clemente. If the situation remains unchanged, you have booked yourself in heat number 3 of round number 4, and you're looking for that 3rd world title. The Peruvian Piccolo Clemente is our heat winner there in the green board there. He's going to get a little victory ride here as he comes hard off the bottom, bangs it hard off the top there. Stylish, strong, present, cool as a cucumber, Piccolo Clemente. But Kevin Scavano, don't leave us. You're one of the great stylists. We want to see you at Noosa. We want to see you threatening for a world longboard title. Shannon, final words from you before we have a couple of the heats off.
Oh, that was so fun, man. Great heat between Piccolo and Kevin. Looking forward to see these guys at Noosa in March.
Stay with us at the World Longboard Championships at Jinzun Harbor, Taitung, Taiwan.
That was a really nice heat, guys. Many waves. Too many for us. Yeah, guys in the water. We sit on hold. Here's the stars drop in. So still competitors took too many waves in the heat. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves to drop in, 5 waves to drop in. Then we can start your heat. So the next heat is on standby, next heat on standby. Next heat on standby, the heat number 8 with Antoine Deltero and Sam Christensen from South Africa. That will be heat number 9. Then we go to the heat number 10 with Robin Stoll from United States of America up against Josh Constable from Noosa Head, Australia, Sunshine Coast, Queensland. Former world champion in 2006, back in 2016, Boca Barranca.
Welcome back to the Taiwan Open of Surfing World Longboard Championship action in the water right now. Antoine Del Piero from France, seeing if he can follow in his brother Edouard's footsteps from 2 heats ago and make it through to the next round. He's coming up against Sam Christensen from South Africa. Great heat in the water. Wingnut and myself, Chris Binns, in the booth to run you through the action. And up next in heat 10, Cole Robbins from America up against longboard world champion of days gone by, Josh Constable. That's going to be a great heat as well. And we have no waves ridden yet in this heat.
Not even sure they've started it yet. They were looking at the last couple of scores of Kevin Svarna from the previous heat to see if that's going to affect it. So we haven't seen the results yet, so I'm not sure of those last two waves. There's one coming in at 4.13, so that's not affecting it. Kevin putting on a good performance, just not completing some of those waves that I think were critical. If he had completed them, they would have put him right there in the in that much closer to Piccolo. Good performance by Kevin. He should be proud of himself if he doesn't get that last score. And it'll be fun to watch the rest of this round finish. It looks like the wind is starting to back off, and it's going to clean up, and the tide's going to start going out. I think we're going to have some pretty good conditions as we finish out this day with round 3 for the men. We will be starting bright and early tomorrow morning, I know that, to take advantage of the best conditions. That's the Hooters starting the horn. Antoine Del Perro in red. Sam Christensen from South Africa in blue. All right. First blood being struck by Sam Christensen. Sets up that turn really nicely. Nice tight footwork up to the nose. Clean walking back to the tail. Big sweeping drop knee turn. That is quite the platypus of a nose I see on that board there. I'm expecting to see some hanging off that thing. We'll see where that happens for Sam. And there it is, 5 nice toes over that one. Nice rebound off the white water. He finishes that one. That is a really good opening wave. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, Team South Africa down below us on the surface deck, hooting and hollering at that one, and really enjoying the sort of team spirit that's being shown around this event. All the South Africans are supporting each other, cheering each other on, as are the Aussies, the French, the Americans, the Brazilians, all in good spirit, but definitely well and truly getting behind their teammates whenever they take to the water. So first blood to the South African, Sam Christensen, thrashing this pink board around the place, and a platypus nose, you say?
It is quite the proboscis there, that's for sure. And it definitely does a nice job supporting him throughout this run. Able to hang on with that. So that's in that super wide, really, you can see he's focusing on a nose ride. So while we're waiting for that score, let's throw it down to the beach and catch up with Antoine Del Perro, the winner of Heat 8.
It's actually Piccolo Clemente,
the
the winner. But Piccolo, wow, for longboard fans around the world, that was one of the most exciting heats we've seen all event. And how do you feel to get to that round 4?
Yeah, I feel nice. I was so really happy for again the next here. That condition today is really difficult. It's too small. The wind is very strong, but I think better for tomorrow.
And your big ride was that 717, where you had not just one, not two, but 3 hang 10s on one ride. How do you design your boards to facilitate those hang 10s in these types of conditions?
Yeah, I got the first wave good. It's possible on the hang 10 and the hang 5. So really hard, but I feeling nice.
And are there design characteristics in your board? Is it the noses or the tails that allow you to do those really upright hang 10s?
Yeah, this longboard is different for the last year. This is a little more in the nose, and the tail is a little pintail. Yeah, for this condition. Now it's not so really good, but it's good. Maybe tomorrow is better. Yeah.
And obviously Peru, one of the great historic centers of wave riding, so it'd be lovely for you to speak to your fans in Spanish back home in Peru.
Ya, agradecer a mi familia, a mi esposa, a mis amigos que nos están viendo, a la Federación Peruana de Tabla, a mi entrenador Renato y a todos los peruanos. Arriba Perú.
Legend, Piccolo Clemente, back to you, Wingnut and Chris.
Thank you for that, Sam, as we're picking up action again. Using that big nose, Sam Christensen with a really nice nose ride. Nice cutback, staying smooth and clean while that interview was going on. Antoine Del Perro getting his first wave of this heat. And again, we'll finish up with Sam Christensen here. Kicking out again in control. Sam getting a 5.50 on the right. Looks like Antoine was on the left. So we're waiting for 2 scores for Antoine and a score for Sam. Lots of waves being ridden right in the opening few minutes of this heat. Looks like it's going to be a really tight battle. Antoine and Edouard having a surf school back in France, so they're always in the water. They're in the water teaching. They're in the water doing battle with each other in the entire European tour. So Antoine, the elder brother, would be interesting one day if those boys ended up in the final together, but I think they're both on the same side of the draw. I don't think that can happen this year. As we see Antoine with a nice nose ride there, up to the nose, gets back, using the left more than we've seen used today. Here's a replay of that. He'll go throwing it up into the lip again and kicking out clean. As we have a replay of Sam's second wave, cross-stepping, gets on the nose, there's 5, getting a big arch throwing there. Smooth cut back there, in control. And then we'll see another wave after we finish up this one. First wave of Antoine was a 5.83, so winning that first exchange. And here's the second left of Antoine. That section just shutting down in front of him, kicking out quickly. So 2 waves from each surfer's par, 5.5 for Sam Christensen, 5.83 for Antoine Del Perro. So winning that first exchange was Antoine by 0.33 points. As we're looking at Sam Christensen taking another look at another wave. He's going to let Antoine have that one. And Antoine on his first right gets a nice 5, nice smooth. You see the little rock and roll there, trying to keep that board moving forward. Allows him to get a really nice 10. Floater off that section. Standing island pull out, always like those. Nicely done.
So you were just saying, it'd be great to see the 2 brothers match up. There is a chance of that. The winner of this heat will go up against Edouard Del Perro and Piccolo Clement in that third heat of round 4. Talk us through this replay.
Well, you see where he's doing that little rock and roll on the nose. That's keeping it moving. That's actually progressing the board a little faster. And then he throws it up there, using his arms to throw the board up into the lip of the wave. Yeah, I know that they're going to see each other in that heat, but I was just thinking that if they'd be in the final one year together, it would be quite exciting. As we see Sam Christensen just unable to finish that one. So lots of waves ridden. The conditions have cleaned up dramatically here as we are at 2:30 in the afternoon here in Taiwan. That midday wind being very, very strong. It's Benzi's favorite part of the day when the wind comes up and we go on break. We'd like to thank Taiwan Beer for taking good care of all the athletes as we're looking at a large contingent of the women, some who are in, some who have been eliminated, and some of the men as well, all supporting the French team that's in the water right now.
Yeah, Bar Beer. It's a very quaffable drop, that one. That's a great name too. It's like calling your food kitchen food or
there we
similar.
go.
All right, here goes Sam Christensen flying down the line up into the lip, and he goes down again. So not really completing any of his waves to this point.
We see the shaper Luffy there with his team rider Rodrigo Schwer. He's coming up in a couple of heats as we see another nice nose ride and a splash. As we'll see Antoine, see how he works at completing his ride. A little bit of a shuffling in the middle of that wave. Nice rebound turn off the whitewater. Nice drop knee turn with that one. Nice to show both styles of turning a board. Real clean footwork right there on the inside. Again, stalling, setting it up, getting a nice 5. I like the way the toes are wrapped around there. Nice completing that wave right in front of everyone on the beach.
Yeah,
into the cobbles.
Into about 2 inches of water right then, so nicely done. We've got a lot of scores for the judges to try and figure out now. Both surfers with 4 waves under their belt.
Josh Constable right there, sorry. He's coming up against Cole Robbins next. It'll be fun to watch Josh and Cole do battle. Josh is very excited about the WSL coming to Noosa next year in March as part of the Noosa Surf Festival. It's his home break. He'll be definitely competing in that one. Special shout out to Anna and the kids. Haven't seen them in forever. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at Antoine's wave once again. Quick to the nose there. Back on the tail. Nice, powerful cut back there. Not into the white water. And the next one he does, he shows the flare of the drop knee and has some nice snap with it as well. Good footwork here up to the nose. Toes wrapped right over it. And he's going to get another one here on the inside, holding on to it nicely and finishing with a nice floater off the lip there. Gotta be careful landing right there, jumping off your board into those rocks.
30 minutes, 30 seconds.
So, waiting to see all these scores. The scores are important at this stage of the event. For sure, it's elimination. I like the fact that they're not rushing. They're watching replays over there.
Second wave of red, 3.27.
So Antoine's second wave, that second left, that didn't quite perform for him, a 3.27. That has him definitely in the lead, but waiting for 5 more scores to drop. So things are going to seesaw back and forth here pretty quickly, as we're going to add another score for the judges to work on, as Sam gliding around looking at this wave. That's just an in and out. We know what that score is going to be. 0.5.
So we still have 6 scores to drop in for our 2 surfers. So 2/3 of this heat still to run, and we've got plenty of numbers to drop in before we can start sort of figuring out where we sit with our situations. Sam Christensen staying very, very busy. It is a very short period swell today, probably the shortest period. I think it's about 6 seconds at the moment, so there's going to be a lot of waves. You know, really high frequency of waves, not necessarily as powerful as some of the waves we've seen in earlier days, as Antoine kicks out of that, throwing it aggressively up into the lip.
It's nice to have lots of choices on the waves, and with that bit of a wind bump, having many waves in a set, that first wave or two will iron out the surface conditions, make it a lot cleaner. We see the Stoked one, Stephen Sawyer. He was happy with his advancement earlier in this round. He's on into round 4, as we'll take a quick look back at Antoine's wave. Very quickly to the nose for a 5. He's going to pump it and drive it down the face, whacking it off the top there as it would be. And let's see, waiting for scores. So the third wave that Antoine rode today was a 4.70. So as these scores drop in, we'll let you know what all of them are, and then later we'll do a bit of a recap, and we'll be able to show you the 2 highest scoring waves once we get all these put in together. That's Cole Robbins there, standing next to Tony Silvani, who's seated, resting his leg. Cole Robbins will be coming up later against the Constable. Bigs and littles there in that one. And Antoine Del Perro again. Cleaner face on that wave. Nice. Allows him to get a nice stylish nose right there. A little slippery at the back there. We'll hop off the top. Nice smooth carving drop knee turn. Gets another one in there. Clean, concise footwork following it up. Very good. Stalling there in the middle of the board. Quick out. That was a nicely put together wave. Sam Christensen finally resting outside.
Well, 5 waves caught in the opening 12 minutes of this heat. Antoine Del Piero just caught his 6th wave, so both surfers staying very, very busy. Antoine's 4th wave comes in at a 5.9, so now he's starting to build a bit of a base to really construct a heat total around. He's got a 5.83 and a 5.9. He is sitting in the lead. Sam Christensen, only the 1 score in from his 5 waves so far, and it is a 5.5, so 5s featuring very heavily. Second wave in for Sam is a 5.33. Goes into his top 2, doesn't change his requirement. He still needs a 6.23. He has 3 more scores to come in.
Quick look again at that last wave of Antoine. Got a nice nose ride, got a little loose coming back off of that one. He'll get the big drop knee turn. Put another one in right behind it here. Sets it up for a quick nose ride. Off back to the middle of the board and out. So that was wave number 6 for Antoine Del Perro. We're still waiting for a score for wave number 5. I guess we had a quick in and out for Sam Christensen. Another score drop for Sam, a 3.1. Waiting for wave number 4 of Sam to see if that's going to be that requisite 6.23. Cole Robbins warming up there, listening to his inspirational tape. Make all sorts of jokes of what he's probably listening to, but we'll try not to. Antoine Del Perro currently in the lead with those two high scores we've seen so far from him, a 5.90 and a 5.83. The two highest scores so far for Sam Christensen, a 5.5 and a 5.33. He's got a little bit of work cut out for him, but nobody's into the 6s yet, so that means it's close enough that it can switch back and forth readily. Halfway through this heat now. This is round 3, heat number 9. Thanks for waiting patiently with us while we waited for the conditions to improve. We will be able to finish this round and start bright and early tomorrow morning. All right. Waiting for some scores. Our monitor has gone down here in our booth, so sorry if we're leaving you hanging for a moment. Another score dropping in for Antoine Del Perro, but it doesn't affect the score line to 4.47. It's just nice with all this swell that's on the water, lots of waves, keep making it even enough that the athletes have plenty of waves to do battle on. Throughout this heat, we're getting our monitor up and running right now, so we'll be back with you. It's been a pretty exciting week of events throughout the Pacific. There we go, back to live action. We've got Antoine Del Perro up and riding right there. Nice hang 10. Big sweeping drop knee turn.
Like that. And the French Legion downstairs enjoyed that as well. We can hear some roars coming from the surface deck. So I just spoke to Edouard Del Perro a couple of heats ago, and they're really thriving off this team environment. They're all coming down to support each other. Here's the replay. Does the aim at left and fade right sort of take off? Couple of big turns down the line, bit of hand jive, gets over that little rib in the face, and then things stand up down the line and get pretty cool right about here. Beautiful hang 10 and a big rip there. Plenty of style coming out of that turn, and the Frenchman and his fans enjoying that one. 13 minutes to go. Second last wave for Antoine drops in. Best wave of the heat so far, a 6.37. So have a look at his scoreline. He's really compiling a fair base of numbers right now, throwing away 3s, 4s, and 5s, and currently holding on to a 5.9 and a 6.37 to leave Sam Christensen tasting a 6.77.
He's definitely getting into that rhythm. You see he's choosing better and better waves, getting more and more comfortable with how the energy on those waves are behaving. Sam finally back into the game, setting it up with that left, go right. Try to hit, nose ride through that section a little bit, from behind, and a lot of times you can motor through that. Sam choosing to ride a single fin, allowing him to have a little bit more directional control from the nose, but unable to use that to get around that section.
And luckily for Sam, surfing with a leash, because
with a leggy.
Looked for a second like he might have lost his craft there, which would have been...
which means, if the board's moving in that, well, so is he. Being attached to it. So, yeah, a bit of a... I had the same thought that you did, that he might be coming. So we'll take a look at those highest scoring waves. This will be Antoine Del Perro's 5.9, the big carving cut back there. He'll match it with... The end here is Sam Christensen's. Nice nose ride, very clean footwork. Smooth drop knee turn. And Del Perro, stylish, hanging up on the nose. Carving cutback, and this one connects across that little rib, and that's the key. You get a wave that does that, and it'll give you another section to nose ride. And Sam on the right, we just caught a glimpse of Eduardo kicking out on the left. I really like that, the way he was able to get through so much of that section on the nose. And that's when you lower your center of gravity. It's like the Paul Stroud 5, it's called, a cheater 5. I almost think that if he had stayed down like that, he had a better chance of making it through, because your center of gravity is really low. You keep that inside rail down, but once he rose up, that thing just knocked him right off.
Yeah.
So.
It's a lot easier to maintain your stable base of support when you're down low. Well, we've got a big score coming in for Antoine Del Pero, a 7.57.
For his previous wave, not for this one, but for the previous wave that he got, that one with the really great nose ride. So he's definitely putting the pressure on. And now let's look at Sam's again. Gets on the nose there. Oh, that's the quick one that he went down, the 0.97. So no lack of scoreable, rideable waves in this heat, that's for sure. 8 waves ridden by each athlete. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Watching that. You know, there's the paddling, trying to get back, get another wave, and there's just that adrenaline push also while you're in a heat, while you're battling to try to avoid elimination. Some of the competitors from the upcoming World Junior there, taking a look at the conditions. They seem to be really happy when the wind comes up in the afternoon.
Yeah, they surf a little differently to the rest of us. The onshore is their friend.
Seen a fantastic display of aerial surfing from the juniors when the wind is really picking up. So be sure to follow that event when it starts. The waiting period has a little bit of an overlap, Saturday and Sunday. We'll see what happens with that, whether we were able to finish the whole longboard event, Longboard World Championships tomorrow, or whether we will hold some of the finals for Sunday, depending on the wind and wave conditions. So the last wave from Antoine Del Pero, 4.9. The last one from Sam, a 3.07. So no real change. Sam needs a pretty good size number here. He needs an 8.44 if he wants to win this heat with 9 minutes remaining. So he needs to chuck away a couple of these mid-5 scores and get himself closer to Antoine Del Pero. Plenty of time left in this heat with the frequency of waves that we've seen. And the conditions are getting just a little better and better every 5-10 minutes. The tide's dropping and the wind's laying down. So the scoring potential is going to increase as we go through. In the heat after this, we will be seeing Cole Robbins and Josh Constable. It's going to be a fun battle. Two very diametrically opposed sized human beings there.
There's a fair age gap between the two of them as well.
That is true. Age and experience versus youthful exuberance. Although Cole's not the youngest kid in these events anymore either, as we're seeing Antoine Del Pero give it another nice look. Quick left, go right, 5 to 10 to holding a long 5. See how he's able to go through that section on the nose, hanging onto that nose ride for a long time. Very clean, powerful drop knee cut back and a kick out. That one is going to score well. I like that wave.
Yeah, Wingnut's lighting up next to me because Antoine Del Pero on his 9th wave has just strung together a beautiful run.
See the setup on this? There's that little whip turn after a little left, go right, 10-5, holding it, keeping that front foot over through that section, and now it gets real stylish there. Steps back, big drop knee turn, all the way around into the white water and cleanly out of that wave. We'll see how that score comes in. Yep, putting the pressure on Sam Christensen. We'll take a look at that again. Slightly slower, sets that up, gets the 5, quick 10, and back. And now you'll see he's able to, he's in a third of the way down the face of that wave, goes right through that white water like it doesn't exist, and then just puts a little style into it there. Backhand tickling the top of the wave. Big, powerful drop knee turn, and yep, that was pretty good.
All right, so 7 minutes remaining. Antoine Del Pero currently with a 6.37. That score in jeopardy, and a 7.57 his high score. One number still to drop in. Sam Christensen, his first 2 waves, his best 2, a 5.5 and a 5.33. Right now he's looking for an 8.44, and here goes Del Pero once again.
That was a quick nose ride to a re-entry. That's probably not going to matter in his score line. He's been chucking away 5.8s, 5.9s. I think that'll go into that range. So Sam, who started out super busy early on in this heat, is now being unusually patient for a young man. This is usually where the Groms continue the froth fest. There's a nice set wave out there. We'll see the setup again, real quick to the nose. Shuffle it back and throw it into the lip. And out. Flick that board over the top.
Casual. Don't mind it one little bit. Antoine Del Perro with 5 minutes 40 to go. Still waiting on two numbers to drop in. One of them for his ninth wave. You would imagine is probably going to shake things up a little bit in this heat as we come down towards the 5 minute mark.
Jefferson Silva having a bit of a snack on a bar of wax right there. All right, so that did it. That comes in as the highest score so far for Antoine Del Perro. He's got a pair of high sevens, 7.60 for that last one and a 7.57 previous to that. So he now has put a world of hurt on Sam Christensen, who now needs a 9.67 if he wants to surpass Antoine the Elder Del Perro with 5 minutes remaining in the heat. Del Perro definitely the favorite going into this one with his global experience, his many heats won internationally, especially as a European champion many years in a row. So we expected this from Antoine. We were hoping Sam could put a little bit more fear into him at some point. He started out really strong. Those two high fives from Sam definitely put a fire underneath Antoine, and then that's the danger of that. He's going to come back and hurt you with two high sevens.
So as Josh Constable makes his way down to the water, we can see all of the World Juniors in the action, just surfing alongside the main contest bank. And if you look out of our booth to the left wing, that you'll see an army of photographers shooting all of the free surf action.
7 million millimeters of lens out there pointed at the aerialists from the World Junior. When you walk by them, when one of the kids, throws a board up into the air, it's just machine gun fire. There's like 50 cameras going off at high speed. What do they do with all the photos?
They are laying waste to acres of storage space as we speak. And they're just gigabytes on terabytes on megabytes just getting chewed up every time one of the grommets takes off on a wave, or one of our world longboarding competitors. We see here, this is Sam Christensen, wants to get a wriggle on. His last wave of 3.07 doesn't go into his top two. He's got a 5.5 and a 5.33. He's looking for a huge 9.67. That's not going to come on the strength of that wave. He's got 3 minutes 15 though, so can he get out and get himself one or maybe even two waves to try and throw the cat amongst the pigeons? Antoine Del Perro has priority. He's got a 7.6 and a 7.57. His last wave comes in at a 5.43, so another one of those really strong throwaways.
I'm still dealing with throw the cat amongst the pigeons. That's a new one for me. I'm just going to put that in the book for a while. I like that one. As we see, that's a kitten amongst the wolves. He does not have a chance in this one. That's where that wide nose might hurt you a little bit when you're on that corner of that shoulder there. There's so much wind coming out of that little bit of a bay. You can see it kind of pushed him back up and out. So with 19 waves ridden so far in this heat, and the heat leader being Antoine Del Perro with 10 waves ridden, throwing away a 6.37, and the two highest scores from Sam, a 5.5 and a 5.33. So definitely strongly in charge of this heat, Antoine Del Perro. He has priority with 2 minutes left. Feeling extremely confident with making an early call on this heat right now. Knowing the competitive prowess of Antoine Del Perro, he's not going to let a high-scoring wave sneak underneath him.
9.67 to go first.
So yes, we can hear the beach announcer letting Sam know that he needs a 9.67 if he wants to go into the lead. Antoine Del Perro with priority with a minute and 35 seconds left is not going to let a 9.67 scoring wave go to the young South African. But a good performance. Look at the one that Antoine has found.
Yeah, it's a bigger, wider one. And it's looking very windy up the face. Antoine driving around a long figure 8 cut back there. Skips over a little bit of a ridge. Now he'll get the bonus section. Doing it nicely. And, well, with a minute to go, he says, you know what? I'm going to angle things left and sneak into the little beach rather than deal with the shore break in the bay. So a minute to go. And the lineup is the sole possession of Sam Christensen, but he needs a 9.67. And some trivia for you, Wingnut. Cat Among the Pigeons is a novel by Agatha Christie. And originally comes from colonial India, where cats were thrown in pigeon pens and bets were placed on how many pigeons the cat could kill.
Well, fortunately, that's no longer in vogue, as we're going to see this last wave from Antoine Del Perro. I like the way he was able to negotiate that ridge section between the two peaks. Finished it up with a nice come back going left. Quick replay of Sam Christensen's wave here. Got on the nose, just unable to drop in the rest of the way. So Antoine watches, waits for Sam Christensen to come in. Good sportman there. As Sam Christensen just able to hop up right at the horn. He's just going to glide in on this one. So momentary hold while the judges throw those last two scores in for Antoine and Sam, but it's not going to change anything. Very strong performance from Antoine Del Perro. Congratulations, well done. You're joining your brother in Heat 3 of Round 4, where the two Del Perro brothers will do battle with Piccolo Clemente. We'll be back after this.
写什么？你看什么？你们赶快啊！混啊！你写3天，我改8、7次，是不是不想看啊？
有一种爽，交给老板一巴掌。爽皮送 beer。
Welcome back to the Taiwan Open of Surfing World Longboard Championship action coming our way from Jinzhong Harbour, about half an hour north of Taidong City. We're about 500 kilometres south of Taipei, the capital of Taiwan. And, well, take your pick whether we're in the South China Sea, the Philippine Sea, the East China Sea, the far western Pacific, you name it. But what we do know is that there's plenty of waves kicking around in the water right now. Josh Constable and Cole Robbins in the booth. Myself, Chris Binns, alongside legend of the game, Wingnut. And, mate, what did you make of that last heat?
I thought it was a fantastic performance by Antoine Del Perro, and live on the beach with him right now is Sam Bleakley.
Antoine, flow would be a word that comes to mind. You know, that was such a smooth, strong performance. How's it feeling?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Sam. Feeling great. Just getting in the rhythm at the beginning of the heat, trying to catch any wave that comes, because you never know what's gonna happen. It's pretty hard over there to find the right ones, and the ones which are gonna open with the wall that you can have a big potential of points. But slowly I get in the rhythm and I get good scores at the end. So I feel good. I feel really good on my boards. I'm confident for the rest of the comp, and just giving everything.
And did you have a little discussion with your brother who'd surfed a heat earlier in the round? Was that an advantage? Did he give you some pointers to get out there for your heat?
Yeah, sure. Even if it's changing a lot every time, but he told me, like, if you see a wave, just jump on it, because you never know what's gonna happen after. Just taking advantage of catching anything coming which looks like a good wave, but you can't really tell at the beginning when you paddle into the wave. So that was pretty hard. But during the heat, I get good waves. So I'm super happy and try to keep on going like this. Maybe just be a little bit more selective, because I don't even know how many waves I caught in this heat, but a lot.
And as always, your Minbell shape's looking lively under your feet. You know, tell me about this design. You know, is it something new for Taiwan?
Yeah, actually, for me, it's pretty new because I narrow my board more and more thin. It's pretty much one of Edward's shape that he's been doing for 2 years right now with a Mainviel surfboard, and yeah, just very light, very like it's a really good board. Like I feel very comfortable on it, and no, it's just a super equipment, and yeah.
So matching up against your brother in that round 4 quarterfinal, how's that going to be? Are you going to play paper, scissors, stone to determine who gets which set?
Well, at the beginning, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe a little bit of hassling. No, I don't know. Maybe the old guy get the waves. No, what do you think?
I think that's fair enough. I think, yeah. The younger brother should give the older brother the opportunity to win his first world title. That would be good.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I will try. Sure.
So you got a big fan base back home in France. Lastly, some words in French for all your supporters at home?
Ouais, bah merci à tous ceux qui regardent. Je sais pas, il est peut-être un peu tôt. Je pense que mon pater et mon père, il doit être devant l'ordi là, donc on t'embrasse très fort, JR. Toujours, c'est le premier supporter, donc c'est génial. Et puis tous les autres qui se sont peut-être levés pour nous regarder, c'est cool. Et voilà, on va essayer de continuer à fond, tout donner et voilà. Choix.
Not often you hear an Englishman say this, but allez le bleu.
Thanks, Sam.
Back to you, Chris and Wingnut.
Okay, merci à tous. And, well, there was something really French that came out of that interview. Antoine was saying it's pretty early back in France, so a big shout out to anyone who's got up early to tune in. By my reckoning, it's 8 in the morning.
Well, yeah, you don't want to rush the Frenchmen. Yeah. You know, they get cranky.
You've got to have your petit déjeuner, have your pain au chocolat, your café, and then maybe you can think about turning on l'ordinateur and checking out the Championnat du Monde here at Jinzhong Harbour. So we've seen plenty of action in this heat already. Josh Constable opening up with a 4.33, Cole Robbins with a 1, and the score still to come in for this wave.
So good second wave there for Cole. Everybody getting their first waves, and with being on hold for so long, it was difficult for the athletes to kind of get a practice surf right before this starts up again. So now they've all got a wave underneath them. They're going to feel a little bit more comfortable. We kind of have the rivalry going in here. The American Cole Robbins going to have to back him on this one, forcing Binzi to become the nationalist he doesn't want to be and support Josh Constable.
I'm from Western Australia, mate. I live 5,000 kilometres away from this guy.
I'm almost closer to him than you are. Yes, I understand. That is a beautiful nose ride. Nice 10 there from the gentle giant, Josh Constable. That is going to be a very nice scoring wave. I think that will put a little bit of pressure on the very busy young man, Cole Robbins. There he is. Realizing that wave's not going to produce, he kicks out. Rush back out there. Once again, like we've seen in those previous heats, we're 5 or 6 minutes into it and 5 waves have been ridden already. So lots on offer with the short interval swell as we see Cole Robbins. Quick footwork to the nose, 5-10, steps back nicely, does battle with the whitewater there, and he's going to let the whitewater win. So we're going to still wait for those scores to come in. But nice opening flurry. Gets kind of the jitters out now that you know everything works. The wax sticky enough on your board. Kind of feel the rhythm of those sets. Kind of see how the lump of those waves are going to affect your nose rides and your turns. That was a very strong 10 from Josh Constable on his own Creative Army surfboards out of Noosa. So Cole Robbins' first wave, that was a 5.33. So his first real scoring wave, beating the Constable, who had a 4.33. But I'm waiting for Josh's next score because that was a very good wave. That nose ride, that long locked in 10, that should have quite the score. So it'll be fun to watch these two. So far throughout this entire round 3, the red jersey has won every heat so far. So will Cole Robbins be able to keep that trend running?
second priority is red.
So priority outside with Mr. Constable, and we'll take another look at Cole's last wave there. Quick 5, nice 10, back to 5. Then the wave shuts down in front of him. Nice clean nose ride, very composed, but just no more scoring opportunity on that wave. And so Josh's second wave, a 4.57. So 2 good strong scores give him the lead, an 8.90. Waiting for that quick nose ride of Cole's. It was a nice clean 5.10, but then that wave shut down, so no opportunity for additional scores, turns, or anything on that. So not anticipating much out of that wave from Cole Robbins. 3.40 for that nose ride.
Yep, so not a lot in it between these two. Cole Robbins still just looking for a 3.57. Very early days, 21 minutes remaining. And here goes the red jersey. So the top seeds have won 9 of 9 heats so far in round 3. Can Cole Robbins keep that trend going? This is definitely going to go into his top 2. Just by how far remains to be seen. Finds the nose again. It looks like it's a bit of a wobbly wave. It's going to push deep into the bay though, and Cole pulls out with 21 minutes to go and a score still to come in.
Well, that was really nice wave, snuck under priority, taking advantage of that one. That should hopefully get rid of that 3.40, kind of help him keep his momentum. Cole likes to stay busy. Strong young man, does a lot of exercising. Staying in shape when he can't surf, living in the Ventura area, riding Wayne Rich surfboards. Wayne building some absolutely beautiful crafts. He's working with the Thunderbolt Technology guys on some boards as well. It's Sumitomo's company, building boards for many shapers in Australia and the United States now, and even for Ben Skinner. As we look at Cole's again, taking off, setting a quick turn up at the top there. 5, nice and tight and clean, hanging onto that nose ride for a really long time. Great footwork back, very progressive carving cut back there. And they get a second one, trying to set it up, looking at that inside section. Nice quick footwork to the nose. Cut back, bouncing it off the white water, and he's out. So good size wave, and again, that one was under priority.
Yep, only needs a 3.57, so somewhere between his last wave and his second to previous wave, and that will give him the lead. Josh Constable with priority, electing to sit and wait, be a little bit more selective. Plenty of time to go, and there it is, last wave for the surfer in red, a 6.67, the best wave of this heat so far, gives him the lead. Josh Constable now requiring a 7.43, so a big swing in the momentum of this heat based on the back of that last wave of Cole Robbins.
And that was one of those peaks that are on the north end. It was under priority. Josh waiting outside a little bit farther to the south, and Cole snuck that one in. Well played, Cole Robbins. So Cole, again, no priority. He's kind of free to hunt around. Look at him coming at that peak from behind, taking a look. It's a real clean face on that. Oh, a little bit of hang heels there, Cole. Look at you, young man. Very nicely played. From super traditional and a lot of flair to a nice roller coaster off the lip. That degree of difficulty on that nose ride with a clean hang heels, held himself there, calmly walked back. That was really nice. Let's see how the judges, what they think of that. We haven't seen a hang heels yet.
Yeah, and there's a prime example there of earlier we saw Taylor Jensen surfing without the leash, and you're saying that's because he can often get tangled, and we saw Cole Robbins then. Not only did he hang the heels, but instead of coming back the way that he came, he drove it around into a 360, and he definitely had his leash wrapped around his foot as he came out of that, because he had to sort of step over his leash once he was done with his finessing up on the nose. So talk us through this one.
There's the 5, there's the heels, comes back, and now he's kind of wrapped up in that leash. It's under his back foot. You can see it right there. That was a good spot. You saw he had to lift up there. Normally, Cole wouldn't be wearing a leash, but at this tide, it's absolutely fatal to your boards if you lose a board here. Your friends can't even get between the boards and the jacks right where that wave is going to wash in on the right. So everyone is forgiven for making that choice, and especially considering how many boards we've seen destroyed during the first 4 or 5 days of this event. It's Ben Skinner and Harley Ingleby there.
So Wingnut, run us through that hang heels maneuver. Is it functional? Is it a gimmick? How do the judges sort of react to it?
Well, we're going to see how the judges react, but what I like about it, you see that you're hanging 5, and then instead of hanging 10, you're going to hang your heels. So again, you are showing your utmost control that I don't even have to look where I'm going, and it just changes your weighting, and then walking backwards out of that's composure and control, just a higher degree of difficulty of doing just a hang 10.
And he was really a cat on a hot tin roof then, so the cat's gone from the pigeon pen to being on a hot tin roof. But
well
he
done.
was really just ballet dancing his way back down the board there. Very, very precise
You
footwork.
keep this up, I'm going to be catatonic. That was weak, sorry, I didn't have a lot there today.
Come on, man, there's so many in this category. That
Well done. I categorically agree with you.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, sorry. I'm losing the verbal exchange, yet winning the heat with Cole Robbins.
Yeah, so you are. Go Josh Constable,
Yeah.
needing a 7.43 score still to come in for Cole Robbins. Judges, they haven't seen a hang heels yet in the first 3 rounds of this event, so they're maybe having to dig deep into the rule book and just figure out what they do with it.
Well, they've got to figure out how they place that based on the size. Was it the size of the wave for the nose ride to begin with? As we see Josh get a really nice 5, steps back, not all the way back. He went in the trim spot, got another nose ride out of it, getting a nice little roller coaster floater off the top there, nice carving turn. He's going to try to get through that middle section. Quick tag to the nose, work his way around here, get out into that nice channel. Behind him looks like Cole found something as well. Maybe the second wave that Cole got might even had a slightly cleaner face. He's going to work his way through to the inside here, gets another 5, nice clean nose ride. Look how fast that acceleration on that wave was before he got into the bounce.
Well, that was cool. All right, while we were watching those 2 waves get exchanged, this is the replay of Cole's. Well, that's what he did at the start of the wave while Josh Constable was going to work in front of him. So this could be another good score for Cole Robbins. He just dropped in a 5.87 for his second last wave to further extend his lead. So now we're waiting on the score for this wave and Josh Constable's last wave. We'll bring this situation. And as you said, Wingnut, look at the way that he just accelerates through this section, moving up and down his board, finding the sweet spot every time and doing it very nicely with 14.5 minutes still to run.
We can compare that to the wave that Josh got in front, and there's a little bit more lump and bump in Josh's wave, and I think Josh's wave has actually ironed out the surface conditions for the Cole's, the wave that followed. He's able to get through that little awkward section there, but nothing produced in front of him on his, and Cole had all that opportunity to score on his following there. So I'm expecting Cole's wave to be quite the score. If it's not, it'd be a catastrophe.
Not bad. All right, 14 minutes to go. Still waiting on those last scores to come in for Cole and Josh.
You know, Cole listens to a lot of music as he's getting ready. I know for a fact that his favorite stuff to listen to before heats from Cat Stevens. You saw it coming, didn't you? Led that one way too open.
Yeah. I got nowhere to go after that.
We're just digging a hole and crawling into it.
3:20 local time in the afternoon, and the coffee and the lunch coma is starting to kick in. Both just went for a surf during the extended 2-hour midday break as well. Here's Josh Constable on the nose. He's just dropped in a 5.93 for his last wave. So he will be needing about a 6.7 at this stage, 6.73 maybe.
I really like the way he starts that wave. He's got this really neat flick that he does. You know, we talk about that left, go right setup turn. And the way he did it, he just got so much momentum and stepped right out of it to the nose. I mean, he's a giant, giant guy, and he's so light on his feet. And, you know, he doesn't have an overly large nose on that board, but it just holds him. He positions it so well. So watch the little flick here. Whip, and out to the nose he goes. Nice little cat-like steps. Cross steps back to the nose, driving around there, and gets another nose right there, super clean. we're just getting that score from Cole Robbins for that one with the big clean nose ride, an 8.57. So in the excellent range for Cole Robbins, putting a lot of pressure on Josh Constable, who now needs a 9.31 with 12 minutes remaining. So Cole in a very strong position, a 6.67 and an 8.57, and he's not done yet. Sliding into this one, taking his time, setting it up. Very clean, very composed. 5 to 10 to 5, the long 5 going through that section. Drive around it. He's probably just going to stay with it so he can get out on the corner there for the easy paddle back out. Yep. So that probably will not go into a score line, will not be replacing a 6.67. But boy, what a nice wave, that 8.57.
Yep, really grabbing this heat by the scruff of the neck. Josh Constable with a 4.77, so all of his scores are locked in. He has a 4.77 and a 5.93. Requires a huge 9.31 with 11 minutes to go. Score coming in still for Cole's last wave. We don't think it'll go into his top two, but his second last wave, that long nose ride, an 8.57, and really putting him a long way out in front.
Definitely keeping up that momentum of the red jerseys. We'll take a look at his last wave here. He waited very patiently to see how this wave is going to set up and then launched himself forward, trimming up to the nose, 5.10, back to a long 5. Works his way around this section, and it's just not going to open up for him. So nice, clean little nose ride. Composed, staying busy. Boy, I'm real proud of that 8.57. That was just such a big, clean face. And the second wave of that set, you know, Josh had taken the first one, and it really gave him a nice platform for the face of that wave for his nose ride.
All right, well, here goes Cole Robbins again, under priority, nothing to lose, and decides he's not interested in that one. So he was really just having a look and rolling the dice on it. Decided straight away he wasn't interested. Now he's going to look at the wave behind. Again, second wave might be a little smoother courtesy of the wave in front. But
you can see that's what he's thinking. You know, he's watching these waves. It's that corner. Some of those rights, the first wave, tide's still a little high, has a bump on it, but also it'll clean it out. It'll take a little bit of that water away, and that second wave could be a lot crisper. So nice look at our playing field out there and the cobbles on the beach. You can see why leashes are very highly in demand here at Jinsun Harbor on the high tides.
9 minutes, 20 seconds, 9 minutes, 20
so to the
seconds.
left of the screen is the north, to the right is the south, and generally the wind and the current have been moving from north to south all week. Today is the smallest period swell, and it's moved slightly more to the east, sort of localized wind swell more than the earlier typhoon swell we saw from the north. So plenty of waves, maybe not quite as powerful as we've seen in some of the earlier days, but great to get all the way through this round 3 of the men. Sets us up with 11 heats still to go on the men's side of the draw, just the 3 heats left on the women's side of the draw, and it is Rachel Tilley, Honolulu Bloomfield in semi-final number 1. Soleil Errico and Tori Gilkison will be battling it out in semi-final number 2. So we're looking to crown 2 world champions over the weekend. We could, in a pinch, get it all done tomorrow on the Saturday, but more realistically, you would imagine Sunday we'll see a coronation of some sort here in Jinsun Harbor.
It's going to be fun watching these two, the men's and women's division, wind down. We've got some exciting, the newcomer on the women's side, Soleil Errico. She's the only one on that side that has not won a world title. And excuse her for it, she's a little on the young side. I think Rachel Tilley was the youngest WSL world champion of all times. Soleil Errico is right on the edge of that as well. I think she's already a little bit older than Rachel was when she won, but fantastic seeing how well she has performed this week here in Taiwan. But let's get back to our men. All right, let's take a look at the waves ridden so far. Cole Robbins. I like the way his toes even lifted up on that one. There's Josh Constable with his 5.93. Nice and smooth the way he brought that up. And we see Cole with the hang heels. He tangles his legs up right there. That was a 5.87 for that. And here Cole Robbins with the highest scoring 8.57. Big cutback, rebounding into the white water. And that wave set up another nose right on the inside. So some really beautiful surfing by both of these gentlemen with just under 7 minutes left. Heat 10, round 3. As we see Tony Silvani and his partner Lee. Tony's feeling better. He's had some treatments on that leg, that hamstring. He's trying to nurse it through the rest of this event. You can see Josh and Cole. I mean, just both really nice humans. There's no animosity out in the water. They're chatting it up nicely. Or Josh could be saying, I have priorities, stay away from me.
Yep, Josh definitely got the physical advantage out of the two. What differences would there be in the equipment between the two guys out there, do you think?
I think Josh's board has a much fuller outline all around. Taking a look at it, I know that Cole's tails are actually pulled in quite dramatically. And it's those really tight tails that he's kind of designed with this wave in mind, because we've seen some really large, powerful surf here over the course of this week and last year's event as well. So he really wanted to make sure he had a tail that would hang in for all of that. So I think if you looked at his tail, it would be very, very tight compared to Josh's. But again, the noses are equally full for the nose riding. We watch him set this up with a really long left go right, cross stepping to the nose, 5 to a 10. Nice footwork back. Quick flicking it back into the white water there and out.
It's a really dramatic moment, that pause, isn't it?
It's great. I really love the way it sets up a wave. And you're just wondering, when is he going to unleash, you know, as we watch Josh unleash those big, powerful turns. Nice footwork there up to the nose, and another smashing it off. That's some back beach action, Sunshine Beach for Josh, and the back beach from Noosa. But yeah, there is that moment when you're fading the wave, you're waiting, you're watching it develop in front of you, and it just sets up because you come out of that with all that power and flow. It's one of the nicest things. I don't think there's a lot of left go righting going on in the shortboard world. Big sweeping, carving turns from Josh, and then he's going to try to get up to the nose. Just a quick touch there to the nose. So 3 big turns and a quick tap to the tip. That's not going to really be a strong one. Look, wait. Now. And it just sets him up. You're just trying to, and it's so fun when you do that, like too soon, too late, and you know you've done it wrong. You know, when it gets right, when you can walk all the way out there and you're standing there with all 10 toes wrapped over the nose, like, yep. Nailed it. As we see Rodrigo's Fire with his new Luffy board under his arm. I saw him in the warm-up as we were starting the comp again, and he looked really smooth on that one. So looking forward to watching Rodrigo ride that in the next heat in the all-Brazilian Heat 11 up against Jefferson Silva. So 4.13 on the last wave for Cole Robbins, waiting for Josh Constable's. The young Grommet Cole has 9 waves already. Not surprised. Priority with Josh Constable outside. He needs a big number here if he is going to snatch this wave, this heat away, and create a catastrophe for Cole.
All right, 3 minutes 15 to go. Cole Robbins has caught the most waves and banked the most points. It's the 2 big ones at the moment that are crucial, an 8.57 and a 6.67, putting him out in front. Josh Constable, his high score, a 5.93. He needs a 9.31 to jump up into the lead. 3 minutes to go, so enough time to get there on the strength of 2 waves. But if he's to do that, he's going to have to get a wriggle on. Otherwise, he's going to need one huge score, a 9.31, to get through. We've already seen a score up in that range earlier today. Ben Skinner dropped a 9.47 in Heat 5, the biggest single wave score of the event so far. He backed it up with an 8.6, so a massive 18.07 total. And easily the standout performance of this entire event from the Englishman.
And it was great to see, and it really put everybody on notice of how sharp his equipment and how sharp he is coming in to this event. So he's always been there, super close into the semis and finals for many years in a row, and this could be the Ben Skinner year. Not that anybody else is going to go quietly, but it definitely puts you on notice that Ben is ready. Hi, Josh. We see you. Hi.
So just under 2 minutes to go. Josh Constable obviously asking for a bit of a time update from Aurelian, beach announcer.
Well, there's a good thing, good note there, Anna. You might want to get him a good waterproof watch. Christmas is coming up.
90 seconds to go. Josh Constable now is pretty much going to have to do it on the back of one wave, and it's going to have to be a doozy, a 9.31. The requirement. He has priority. He sat patiently for about 10 minutes now, and just really hoping that Huey serves him up a big old slice of Pacific that he can go to town on. Just over a minute remaining now. This is Heat 10. Round 3. Up next in Heat 11, Rodrigo's Fire and Jefferson Silva, the all-Brazilian affair. And then to shut out Round 3, Kai Silas and Maka de Soto. So an all-Hawaiian affair to round things out. Here goes Cole Robbins. Can he ice the cake that is this fantastic Heat 10 Round 3 performance? 40 seconds to go. Not his best wave. Won't go into his top 2. Will get him a lot closer to the beach. Is he going to call it? Nope. He's going to sneak back out. See if he can't just get one more little wave before this one is done and dusted.
I like the way he was watching. He was kind of just sitting behind Josh. Josh has priority. He wants to let him choose whatever he wants. But he had this nice little glide in. That board of his really snuck into that wave without much effort at all. And look at this little sneaky one he's going to find. I thought he was going to spin and go. You got 10 seconds left, Cole.
Well, there's a
pull the trigger.
6 second period. He could get another
He
wave.
could get 3 more with this period, the way it's been going on.
Well, he's not going to, and Josh Constable's not going to get a wave either. So Josh Constable unfortunately bows out, needing a 9-something before that one was done and dusted. Cole Robbins keeps the red jerseys dream run going. He is through to round 4. He'll be coming up against the winner of this heat, Rodrigo's Fire and Jefferson Silva. He busted out the first hang heels we've seen for the event as well on the way to his impressive 2-wave total. Don't go anywhere. More action from the World Longboarding Championships right here in Taiwan coming your way after this quick ad break.
Primera prioridad verde, segunda prioridad azul. First priority for red, second priority for blue. And 100% Brazilian in this heat. Pneumonia heat. An Hawaiian heat with Kai Salas in red up against Maka de Soto in blue.
Welcome back, surf fans. If you're joining us from Rio de Janeiro, it's 5:40 in the morning, and we've got an all-Brazilian matchup in heat number 11 here in the third round of the Men's World Longboard Championships at Jinzhou Harbor, Taiwan, as Rodrigo Schweier is surfing against Jefferson Silva. Just now, Mr. Cole Robbins from Rincon, Northern California there. He really surfed on fire in that heat, Shannon.
Oh, he really came alive. Excellent surfing from the California local. And out in the lineup, Jefferson Silva up against Rodrigo Schweier with our second to last heat of the day. That was some exciting surfing, though, from Cole. I like that hang hill, throwing a little bit of a variety in there for our nose riding.
Yeah, Cole was looking phenomenal. Really smooth, really strong, really committed, riding his Wayne Rich boards there. The Rincon Style Master Cole Robin beats the 2006 World Longboard Champion Josh Constable from Noosa. Great to see Josh back at the event, but right now we got some Brazilian action out in the water. Two goofy footers going guns blazing. Jefferson Silva dismounts on that one. So strong start from Jefferson there. Two scores dropped already, a 107 from Rodrigo Schweier in the red vest and a 2.0 from Jefferson Silva. 30-minute heats, top two waves, a panel of 5 judges score the rides out of 10. The highest and the lowest are eliminated, and you get an average made from the 3 remaining scores. The head judge studies everything. They have the opportunity to use the video replays to really make sure they deliver the scores according to the criteria. And currently these two Brazilian surfers going head to head. 2010 ISA World Longboard Champion is Rodrigo Schweier. In 2013 he finished second in the World Surf League Longboard Tour behind Piccolo Clemente. He's a local of Saquarema, Rio de Janeiro, spends half the year in Portugal hanging out with his Shea Luffy, who's here at the event. As we see 3 strong nose rides from Rodrigo Schweier, comes nice and tight on that last hang 5 there. Didn't get the full 10, more like a handlebar hang 10 where you got that second foot not at the very tip but kind of on the side. But great strong surfing. Over to you, Shannon, for a little bit of action from Jefferson.
Wow, critical nose riding from Jefferson Silva. Oh, unfortunately just coming unstuck at the end with that hang 5 to 10 combination. Totally critical right in the pocket. And as we wait for the scores to drop in for Rodrigo and Jefferson, we're going to catch up with Wingnut and Cole Robbins, our heat winner from the previous one.
Thank you, Shannon. Cole, nice work out there. A lot of flair with the hang heels.
Oh, thank you. It was tricky waiting all day long, and fortunately the wind kind of backed off in our heat. And you know, Josh Constable, he's a champion. He's such a great guy, and we're so blessed to have him on tour again. And I got lucky, and I'm very happy.
You say you got lucky, but you made your own luck there. The highest scoring wave was the one that you snuck under priority.
Yeah, he went for the wave before, and this thing just kind of popped up out of nowhere. It's a really interesting wave. It's hard to kind of gauge where the sets are going to come. I just got really fortunate on that one. And
you made the most of it, too. I mean, it's really nice. Sometimes that first wave will kind of iron out the ocean surface, and that wave got super clean for you.
Oh, it did. It was a blessing to have that one. Thank you, Taiwan.
Those boards from Wayne Rich really look like they're working great.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I've been working a lot with Wayne Rich back home, and I can't thank him enough. Wayne, thank you so much for everything you do. It's an honor to be working with you, and the boards are amazing.
We were talking about how tight the tails are on those boards. Are those specifically designed for this wave?
They are. They kind of pulled in more with a little bit of, actually a lot of rocker in the tail, and the noses are kind of a little more squared off. Not going to give off all the special specifications, but the board is working fantastic out there, and it was designed kind of more for the style of a wave.
Awesome. Well done, Cole. Congratulations on moving on. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. And I just want to give a shout out, hi family, all my friends back home, my brother, mom, dad, Allie. I love all you guys, and thank you to all my sponsors and everybody. It's like A-Frame, Sex Wax, True Aims, CrossFit Boathouse, anybody else, I'm sorry, but thank you for watching. Appreciate everything.
You'll get to thank him again after the next heat, I'm sure. All right, well done, Cole. Congratulations. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you very much, Wingnut. Congratulations, Cole, the Santa Barbara stylist there, ready for the 27 years old, a local at Rincon, riding those Wayne Rich, Cole Robbins models, and looking really good. Is this Cole's year? Who knows? He's been a contender before, Shannon, hasn't he?
He's been knocking on the door for quite a few years now. Last year he had a great result here. It'll be really exciting to see, especially with those guys who are gaining momentum, having been here for year after year. As we see Rodrigo, beautiful fade into that perfect hang 5 Toes fully over. You can see the tip of that nose hooked into the arch of his foot. Goes for that tight 5, not quite a hang 10, gets a little bit caught off balance there, and he'll have that clean kick out. So scores coming through as we see that replay. Nice tight footwork, gets that hang 10, so this is a different wave now. Pumps around, comes off the top on that first section. Little wraparound cutty on the second one. Almost loses it on the rail, but manages to maintain speed and control coming into this last turn and redeem himself on that one.
Wow.
So he's sitting with a 5 and a 5.6 for those last 2 waves.
Yeah, really unleashed through that inside section there. Powerful tail attack from the Saquarema legend. As we see another Brazilian legend, Jefferson Silva there. He is our 2013 Brazilian champ with some great footwork up to the nose, back to the tail. Really good sweeping top turn there. 2 goofy footers going for each other here. Who's going to take the win? Both of them riding Luffy boards. So interesting that Luffy, their shaper, is actually here on site. Strong start from both surfers. 21 minutes remaining. Rodrigo Schweier drops a 5 and a 5.6, and Jefferson Silva looking to replace a 1.5. Likely the score dropping in now will be his best so far. Let's have a little analysis of this. 4 steps to the nose, little hesitation there, but falls in a nice full committed hang 10. Readjusts his feet there, big snap there, not so smooth through this section, a little bit lost the rhythm right there, but gets that second 5. So really good 10, a decent turn, and a really good 5. It's likely to match some of the 5 scores that Rodrigo Schweier has had. Will it go even higher? That rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't know it, Shannon.
The poet Sam Bleakley is sitting next to me. Lots of things coming out of Sam, including brilliant corners. You have this amazing film series. I'm just thinking of the kinds of phrases that you throw out sometimes. It makes sense that you're producing films that have such good culture and literature behind them. And
so there it was, a 6.33. It went higher than Schweier. It's a 6.33.
You're just on a roll.
And really good surfing there.
Can you just continue trying for the rest of this heat to rhyme every single sentence?
Everything has to rhyme on a dime. Okay, so it was that 10 that really gave him that score. Great setup for the nose ride. Really pulled those feet together tight over the tip, as you can see some of his Brazilian fan base there. Wenderson Buda, and probably one of the surfers who'll be competing in the shortboard. Is there a member of the Pupo family here I might have seen earlier competing in the World Junior Shortboard event? So that will be interesting. You're just going to have a little check of the facts there, but Brazilian surfers coming thick and fast to represent their country at the World Junior event that kicks off. The waiting period is starting tomorrow, but it's most likely that that won't start perhaps into either Sunday or Monday. We've got just over 19 minutes remaining now, as Jefferson Silva has a 6.33 to his 2.0 and Rodrigo Schweier has a 5 and a 5.6. So both of these goofy footers would have met up many times before. The Rodrigo Schweier is 35 years of old from Rio de Janeiro. Jefferson Silva, the younger surfer, age 31, from Whale Beach, where he runs the Whale Brothers Surf School. He's traveling here with his partner, Atalanta Batista, and she had a really good run in the women's event. She went down in round 3, getting a 9th place and $1,500, losing out to Honolulu Bloomfield and Alice Lemoyne. So Atalanta, I'm sure, would have hoped to have got further, but a really respectable performance from Atalanta and her partner out here surfing in the blue vest. So needing a 4.27 to advance into the last quarterfinal of the round. So far, we've already determined that we've got Phil Rasman, Stephen Sawyer, and Harley Ingleby in quarterfinal. Sorry, round 4, number 1. Round 4, heat 2, Tony Silvani, Ben Skinner, and Taylor Jensen. And round 4, heat 3, we've got Edward Del Pero, Piccolo Clemente, and Antoine Del Pero. Very interesting seeing those two brothers coming up against each other, but fighting for a place in the final heat of round 4 is this goofy footer from Whale Beach, Sao Paulo. Good nose ride from Silva. Rodrigo Schweier answers back with a really solid backhand 5 to 10 and a big sweeping turn there, hard off the tail, rebounds off the foam here. He's never seems to get knocked off his board, this guy. You could literally roll a tornado over him and he'd still be standing.
That would be very interesting to see. Great surfing from Rodrigo, like you said, just really, really tight tight bit of balance. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now.
Tight footwork.
Yeah, tight footwork, but he just keeps his balance on everything. It's absolutely amazing.
He does. We really saw that on that 5.0 wave where he just unleashed on those big re-entries through the inside. He's got that low center of gravity when he needs it. When he goes up to the nose, he stands quite upright, but when he does his turns, he really spreads his feet apart. There's the 5. Does he pull up for the 10? There's the 10. Pedals back on his Luffy board there on the Sea Captain model. Also works as a fisherman, this legend of Brazilian surfing. Bang! Cracks that hard off the top. Really flexes low into his turns. It's one of the distinctive elements of Rodrigo Schweier's surfing. Rebounds off the whitewater there. This is using the Thunderbolt technology, this board, a mixture of epoxy and carbon fiber, and Schweier in the lead with a 5 and a 5.6, waiting for a score to drop and also waiting for something to drop from Jefferson Silva. So what an evenly poised heat this is. Both of these surfers have a similar commitment to the hang 10s. They tend to really get up to the 5 and then make those 10s. They don't do those long open face 5s. They always go for those critical 10s, as we can see Atalanta Batista, the partner of Jefferson Silva there, videoing some of this session or photographing shots, doing a little bit of fellow coaching of one another's heats there. Schweier waiting for a score to drop, but Jefferson Silva just gets a 4.43, so it goes into his top 2. It's not matching his 6.33, but it means that he now only needs a... He's actually moved into the lead with that score because Rodrigo Schweier were waiting for that last score to drop, so the situation did change. Will it change again when Rodrigo Schweier drops the score? Very evenly poised. It does. A 6.73 for Rodrigo Schweier. So, Jefferson Silva needs a 6.01. Wow, Shannon, this is going to go right down to the last exchange for sure.
Oh, absolutely amazing. 15 minutes on the clock and still plenty of sets to come through. Rodrigo, he is just absolutely on fire, as we've been saying. But Jefferson Silva, he will not be outdone. There's Kai Salas getting ready to paddle out in his next. He will be in the water for the last heat of the day up against Makame de Soto. And Kai has been free surfing almost, I think, more than any of the other guys that I've seen. He's been sitting up on the north end on that right-hand peak, as we see Jefferson Silva just a quick pedal up and pedal back from the nose. But like you said, he keeps going for those really critical hang 10s rather than sticking that long 5. And I like that commitment to being in those critical sections. So just 2 more heats left to the finish of this one, and then 1 more for the day. And we are looking to start the World Juniors potentially tomorrow, although we have a lot of heats left with our World Longboard Championships, so potentially just holding off as we see that live action. How much control is that on the nose?
Wow, he nearly did a full cutback on the nose there. That was impressive control from Jefferson Silva on his second nose ride there, speeding through this section here, hits a big hard off the top, and strong surfing as we've learned to expect from Jefferson Silva, looking for a 6.01. We got 2 scores waiting to drop also from Rodrigo Schweier. They were quick rides, so perhaps they're not going to be going into his top 2 scores. He's got a 5.6 and a 6.73. He's in the lead. Jefferson looking for a 6.01, waiting for scores to drop. I saw that opening 5. He did a bit of a steer, a kind of direction change while staying on that 5. High degree of difficulty. He set up for a second nose ride. The turns perhaps lacked a little bit of clarity and smoothness, but they were radical. Judges reward him with a 5.10. It's not the score he needs, but it keeps him right in the mix. It's really going to be a confidence booster to know that something like that still gets him a 5. He knows he can surf much cleaner. I think the execution of a clean, completed ride is the challenge here for Jefferson Silva. He wants to keep the control, the smoothness, the fluidity through these radical maneuvers.
Absolutely. We can see Rodrigo having a look out the back. He is sitting in priority, looking at that right. Nice bit of size with this wave opening up. Little stall to start off with, just waiting patiently before he goes straight to that hang 5 and committed hang 10. Ooh, I don't know how he pulled that one off. Was not expecting it, but there he is, the man who never falls, Rodrigo Schweier, and he'll have a kick out because he knows that's not going to replace one of his scores. That little bit of a hiccup, although he didn't fall off.
And this never fall thing, I watch him a lot free surfing, and let's see, rest of the heat. I'm gonna put the money on the line here and say he's not gonna wipe out, because he just always seems to hang on to any chop, bumps, section. Even if he surfs radically, he just seems to hang on to things. So he pushes it as far as possible. Look at this, sets himself up there. There's the 4 steps to the nose. There's the 5, going for the 10. Full nosedive. Most people would have fell, but he managed to shuffle his way back to the tail, but it wasn't a clean execution of that hang 10, so the judges won't reward that very highly. But Jefferson Silva drops that 5.10 for his last ride, so he needs a 6.01. Rodrigo Schweier unlikely to replace his 5.6 with that ride, but 12 minutes 20 seconds remaining. What do you think the psychology is like, Shannon, on these two surfers? Both fellow countrymen, travel a lot together, competed a lot together.
Yeah, I think just knowing your competitors really well is a pretty great thing going into heat. It's always a little bit tough going up against friends, especially that these two have been on tour for so many years. So they've traveled, like you said, heaps together over many years throughout Brazil, but also all around the world. This is interesting, though, as we see Rodrigo paddling across to put a little bit of pressure on where Jefferson Silva is sitting. They're not giving each other too much space in this heat. They're definitely staying tight, utilizing that priority. As we're going to have just a little recap show up on our screen now. Words from our producer. Thanks so much to those guys behind the scenes. Take us through this replay.
So there was the 5, there was the 10, and then there's the hop and the bounce and the shuffle and the bang hard off the top re-entry there. So we move on to Jefferson Silva there. Look at this 10, really committed, perch right on the very tip of that Lofi board, and I like the acceleration through that section. Readjustment of the feet with some shuffling and a bit of a clunky turn, so not going up into the excellent range, but strong score for the 6.33 as we see the 6.73 from Rodrigo Schweier there, and look at the hard power attack from the tail. I'd love to see both of these surfers just going for nose rides on one of these waves and seeing what kind of scores they can get, because the way these guys hang 10 is incredible.
It's really amazing. All of their weight is over the nose of their board too. They're not doing that soul arch kind of hang back to keep their weight shifted back, but they're actually putting their shoulders and their head straight over their feet, which gives them that acceleration but adds such a level of difficulty to it to keeping control. As we can see, our surfer in the next heat getting ready to go in blue, that is Maka De Soto. He'll be up against Kai Salas. So interesting to see those pairings between fellow countrymen.
Yeah, that's a really big heat for Hawaii coming up very soon. In 10 minutes, they will be kicking off. In 5 minutes, they can paddle out. Right now in the blue vest, Jefferson Silva still needing that 6.01. Rodrigo Schweier in the lead, but not by much, with a 5.6 and a 6.73. But like you were saying, Shannon, the way that both of these surfers nose ride is very similar. They tend to really lean over the tip of the nose. So when they reach the 5, you notice there's a lot of weight on the back foot. They're leaning back. But when they go for the 10, they literally put their chest further forward than their knees and even their toes, and it really is distinctive, and it's quite spectacular. You know, when you see them hanging 10, the wow factor is there.
It absolutely is. Very excited. Hopefully we will see a few more of those coming through with 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes on the clock. Looks like the ocean has gone a little bit quiet, but we have had plenty of action so far. Jefferson Silva has had 7 waves, Rodrigo Schweier with 5 waves. And just thinking about this amazing week that we have had within the World Surf League, the epic week of surfing, of course, there was the Beach Waver Maui Pro, which witnessed the amazing world title win by Steph Gilmore on the opening day. 7-time world champion Carissa Moore had a perfect 10 on her last wave of the final. So the finish off for the Women's Championship Tour was a perfect 10 for Carissa Moore, and that is really exciting. Of course, there was Jaws, the Jaws Challenge at Piahe in Hawaii, which saw Kiala Kennelly and Billy Kemper taking the men's and women's divisions respectively. Absolutely insane. If you're watching this back home and you haven't seen any of the highlights, I don't know how you would have missed it because so many people have been sharing them, but please go watch the highlight feeds from Jaws. As we go back to opening live action at our World Longboard Championships with Jeff going for that 5. Is he going to commit to the 10? And there it is, those shoulders fully locked over. For those of you watching back home, the level of difficulty within that is just absolutely incredible.
Nice footwork from Rodrigo Schweier there, pedaling up and back, and can he hold on to that 5? He can't accelerate into that final inside section, but I like the clean footwork coming off the nose ride. Again, those big committed hang 10s, the order of the day for these two Brazilian goofy footers, waiting for scores to drop. Jefferson Silva looking for a 6.01 for that wave. I'm not quite sure it will be what he needs. Rodrigo Schweier looking to replace a 5.60. So 7 minutes 50 seconds remaining as we get the replay, and let's see if Jefferson's going to replace that going to replace that 5-1, or is he going to get something up in the high sixes there? Really nice 5, long section, really great 10, but he just needed that wave to open up. I don't think it's going to be the 6 he needs. Let's see Rodrigo's fire. Look at the footwork back from this nose ride. Ready? Bang, bang, bang. Really smooth, controlled, nice setup. And then he gets another nose ride here, but doesn't quite find the opportunity to trim through that section. So not really a completed maneuver on his second nose ride as we wait for those scores to drop. But Silva still in the mix here, looking just for that 601. He's got priority. We saw a lot of good scores coming out of priority in previous heats. The likes of Antoine Del Pero, Edouard Del Pero, and Cole Robbins have been getting some of the biggest scores of the heats out of priority. And when I interviewed Antoine earlier, he said his brother had said, if you see a wave, take it, stay busy. Antoine caught a lot of waves because you never know which one is going to stand up through that inside section.
Absolutely, and great to know. Well, a bit of an interesting one. We'll have in heat number 3 for round 4, probably surfing out in the water first off tomorrow morning. Edouard and Antoine are going to be matched up against each other with Piccolo shut in the middle. That's
a very interesting heat. All friends, of course. Obviously, the brothers are friends, but they might be rival enemies. Who
Maybe
knows?
not at this stage.
They pretend they're friends, but Piccolo's a good friend of both of theirs. And that's a really exciting heat as we see live action Jefferson Silva going for a 601. He's got a good opportunity here. I like the look of this wave. Nice 5, pulls in for a really good 10. If he can hang on to this and open up with the next section, this might well deliver the 601 that he needs. Is this wave going to give him one more open face? It looks like he's got something in his sights there. He sweeps back. He's setting himself up for the little reform here. Ooh. He's going left. He uses his drop knee. Nice footwork there. There's the other nose ride section. Can he get one more 10? He's got a steep wall here. He pedals through that, powers right onto the inside. He gave that everything, and I think he's going to get rewarded with the score he needs, Shannon. That was great surfing from Jefferson Silva from Whale Beach.
Absolutely. Beautiful surfing from the start, and I love that he just held with it. Of course, it sets him up for that long paddle back. He's way over to the side. He's going to be able to miss the sets and get cleanly to the back. But he found that extra nose ride section, and he read that wave well, saw how it reformed left to right. But those starting maneuvers, that's where those scores will come through. Really controlled, held that nose ride really clean. He's chasing a 6.01. We'll see what the judges put down. There are 3 scores we're waiting for, 2 for Rodrigo, 2 for Jefferson Silva. And about 5 minutes left on the clock. Our surfers the next heat, our last heat of the day, getting ready to paddle out. It's been a really exciting day of surfing so far. Nice clean conditions to start off with. A little bit windier this afternoon. We had a good 2-hour break. Most of us had a free surf. The conditions have cleaned up a little bit, and here we are with absolutely epic conditions.
So really nice nose ride there. That's the ride that I think is going to get him the score he needs. That commitment to the 10. As much as this wave did chandelier down, I think what we saw in that opening section is going to be borderline. But the fact that he stayed with this wave and he got the reform and he set up for some more maneuvers on the inside there. So the judges will be studying this video replay that you can see on the screens right now. Will it be that 6.01 that he needs to move into the 4th round? The penultimate score for Schweier comes in at 3.8. We're still waiting one more score of Rodrigo Schweier. Will that make a difference? Will that mean that Jefferson Silva needs more than a 6.00? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to go into his top 2. So any second now that score will drop. This could potentially change the situation, Shannon. But Rodrigo Schweier has got priority. He probably just wants to hold out a little bit if possible, just hear the situation to know how important this next set could be.
Absolutely. He's definitely going to need that priority if a set comes through. I think regardless of what happens with Jefferson's wave, because Rodrigo needs to be able to be in control. If he gets pushed in the second, he needs to be able to control getting those set waves to have the potential to gain the lead.
The body language of that moment looks to be in the favor of Jefferson. Look at him. He's strutting through the lineup there. You can see Rodrigo Schweier has that kind of element of panic about him. He's waiting for that score to drop. He would have perhaps turned around and noticed that that was a pretty good wave. Is it going to be the score that he needs? But Rodrigo Schweier has got priority. It looks like Jefferson Silva is pulling Rodrigo much deeper here. This is interesting tactics from Jefferson. Is it a little psychological attempt to get under the skin of Rodrigo?
It certainly could be. It's interesting that Rodrigo's following him, because Rodrigo, well, he'll be in priority regardless. But I suppose if Jefferson doesn't get the score,
Good point.
He has the chance to get another wave under priority.
Exactly.
Where if he does get the score, then hopefully Rodrigo's not out of position for a set.
So 3.8 is the last score drop for Schweier. It doesn't go into the top two, but so is still the key score to be delivered from the judges is this last ride of Jefferson Silva needing a 6.01, and that's exactly why Rodrigo Schweier has followed him down the beach. But there might not be time to drop the score before this set, because one of them is surely going to have to go for this set, and with priority is Rodrigo Schweier. Or can he call Jefferson Silva off the wave? It looks like Schweier's going to have to take it. He's gone left, he's taken it. Will this be an important ride, or will Jefferson Silva already be on the lead as we see Schweier there gets his toes on the nose, stays hanging on to that stretch 5 fantastically, amazingly, somehow doesn't fall off. Even moves all the way down to the south of the beach through the free surfers, and he's going to take this one all the way to the inside. Amazing skills to hang on to that nose ride, and gets more tip time on the inside with a 5 to a 10. But out back, we're still awaiting for that score to drop for Jefferson Silva, but that one of Rodrigo Schweier, that might replace his 5.6. So it might mean that Jefferson needs a bigger score than a 6.01.
Rodrigo never falls.
He doesn't.
I just can't believe it.
He never falls.
I thought I was going to win the bet against you, but he really never falls.
I mean, look at this. He just charges through this one. He kept Silva off the wave. Nice, powerful drop knee rebound there. Sets himself up. Gets a little bit stuck here. You would have thought he would have fell, but he stays really flexed and he stays true to that nose ride. And we just see the 5.63 drop for Jefferson Silva. It wasn't enough to put him into first position. So Rodrigo Schweier stays in the lead, meaning that in the dying 50 seconds, a score in about the 7 range will be needed for Jefferson Silva to move into first position, because we're waiting for a score to drop from Rodrigo Schweier, and I think it's going to go into his top 2.
Wow, this is crazy though, because Rodrigo is now out of the picture. He's gone too far down to the south end of the beach. There's no way he'd make it back. He's most likely come in and is he's going for the paddle, okay, but he's not going to make it out to be any kind of pressure on Jefferson with 20 seconds on the clock. If another wave comes through, you can see Jefferson in that panic state.
He's got time. He's got time. There's 15 seconds remaining. He's looking for a 6.01 unless the score is increased from Rodrigo Schweier's last score. But he sets up for 4 steps to the nose. Really nice 5 there. Hangs on there, accelerating. Gets a really good 10. Everything was clean and open and radical, and he's got good space left on this wave. He needs to keep control. He doesn't need to over-egg it. He needs to keep that flow going. Really critical nose ride. I think it was more critical than the wave we saw where he got a 5.63. If he only needs a 6.01, I think he's got it. But we're still waiting for that last score to drop as Schweier comes in at a 4.27. It doesn't change that situation. So now it's all in the judges' hands. You can see his partner, Atalanta. She's looking like her heart rate went higher watching the action there, waiting for scores to drop. Will it be what he needs to get through to round 4, Shannon? Wow, what a fantastic heat, right down to the very end as we predicted. And look at this nose riding from Jefferson Silva. Really great stuff.
Oh, I absolutely love it. He stays in control the whole time too. Nice tight footwork, goes for that little off the top flick with his board, and another one here. Just stays super loose and active this whole wave. Great nose riding in the beginning, gets this little bit of a finish off, just does that nosedive kind of finish off, but there you can see the passion that is behind it. Atalanta, Hiroka, both females in our women's side of the event have been knocked out, but both cheering on Jefferson Silva and hoping that score comes through.
So waiting for scores to drop. What a phenomenal heat that this has been. So close, so evenly matched. 2 Brazilian goofy footers, both known for their really committed lean over the tip hang 10s, both demonstrating that they really are determined to get that spot in round 4. So waiting for scores to drop. We have to think back about that 5.63 that Jefferson got. I thought that was going to be the 6.01 that he needed, but it wasn't enough. So there he is talking to his partner at Atlanta. What do you think she thinks about it?
I think she's got it. I think he's got it. You can see that little smile from her there. They're just waiting. They're listening to everyone around them to see what the thought is on the ground. Tony Silvani, he had a great heat today, made it through despite the leg injury. I talked to him and he said he is going to surf his hardest no matter what now.
That's good
from now on. He's got his confidence back. He knows he can do it even though he's got an injury, so that's good to know. But Jefferson Silva, will he be in the event? Will it be Rodrigo Sfayer with no time left on the clock, just waiting for the judges to deliberate that score?
Gosh, this is a nail biter, but as it should be. This is what the World Championships is all about. You want these heats to go down to the wire. You want these big countrymen to match up and to really push one another and take their surfing to a new level. We can see Rodrigo Sfayer there. He's looking, he's waiting. There's no sense of elation on either surfer because that sense of disappointment will just be so heavy if any one of these surfers gets knocked out now. So the judges will be really studying that video replay, just determining the criticalness, the commitment, the degree of difficulty, use of all of the board, all of the wave. I really was impressed with that opening nose ride. If you were going to pull the scores down, perhaps you could criticize the lack of control and flow through some of the setup waves, but we're just waiting to hear that score. I can hear the announcer in the background. Looks like they might be ready to say, we can't see the score come up on our screen as yet, but I really want to see the body language. This, you know, we don't take the camera off Jefferson Silva from Whale Beach. Well, there's Rodrigo Sfayer. I mean, the body language could be elation on him if he wins. And it comes in at a 6.53. Jefferson Silva has booked his place in round 4. Congratulations from Whale Beach, Sao Paulo. Look at the stoke, the elation. Atalanta doesn't look that interested.
She just knew. I think she's like, it's not a big deal. She's such a mellow factor. She's like the cool kid on the block.
Wow, what an amazing heat, Shannon. Over to you for a little recap.
And I love that Rodrigo took this wave. He really did what he could to try to stick with it and put more pressure on Jefferson, but Jefferson capitalized in those last 10 seconds and got the score he needed to advance through into round 4. He will be coming up against Cole Robbins in whoever wins this next heat between Kai Salas and Maka De Soto. Wow. And we will be right back with live action.
Rodrigo Sfayer at the round 3. A very tight heat. 12.86 for GG. 12.33 for Diguinho. Priority goes to blue. Priority is with blue.
And we're back for the final heat of the day, round number 3, heat 12. Kai Salas up against Maka De Soto. We just saw Jefferson Silva take the win in the dying 10 seconds of that last heat. Sam, how exciting is this day of surfing?
Oh, it's just been brilliant. So many great heats. You know, Cole Robbins against Josh Constable, that was fantastic. Kevin Scavana against Piccolo Clemente, that was brilliant. Jefferson Silva beating Rodrigo Sfayer. Wow, phenomenal result for Jefferson. But look at this man on your screen. Our reigning ISA World Longboard champion Kai Salas living on that Donald Takayama board on the nose there. Beautiful surfing, acceleration through this section, a big re-entry. Great start for Kai Salas. Even getting a little bonus section in here. Can he get one more nose ride? Yes, he can. There's the 5. Wow, he just lives on that nose. What phenomenal surfing here. Is this the surfing of a 2018 World Champions come?
Oh, I certainly could see it. He has been spending so much time in the water free surfing. He's been working those rights as much as he possibly can. And now we have the answer back from Maka De Soto, fellow Hawaiian, stuck on that hang 5. Absolute commitment as he goes for that second 5 now. So this is the replay of his opening ride. Good bit of footwork back to the tail. Nice and snappy whipping around, and we are, as we wait for those scores, we're going to head down to the beach with Benzie for an interview with Jefferson Silva.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shannon. Down here with an ecstatic Jefferson Silva, getting the score in the last minute. Did you feel like you got it when you kicked out that wave?
Yeah, man, it's very hard. I feel so tired now. I make the score in the last wave, and I feel so happy to make it. And I was suffering against one of the best longboard in the world, Rodrigues Fire. He one of my best friend, and it's very difficult surf against him. But I'm happy to win this heat. I hope to make more heat like this.
It was a really close heat. Lots of changes of the lead. Do you just have to stick to your own game plan the whole way and not worry about your mate?
Yeah, for sure. I know Rodrigo is very difficult to win Rodrigo. I know I was need to take a good wave, but I'm tired. And when I listen to the speaker say I need a 6.0, I was looking for the wave, and I have a look to catch the wave, and I feel so good now.
It's been a long day. We've been here since in the dark this morning. We had the hold for 2 hours in the middle of the day. How do you stay focused until right up till it's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's so hard for us for we suffer because the contest stopped for 2 hours, and we wake up at 6 a.m. o'clock and they still wait for the heat. And when they stop the contest, we feel so tired. But we are here for this, and we hope to catch more waves like this.
All right, well, fingers crossed, going deeper in the draw, you can keep that Brazilian flag flying. Congratulations.
Thank you. I want to say something in português do Brasil. Fala, galera, estou muito feliz. Passei minha bateria agora, virei na última onda, foi contra o Diguinho, o Rodrigues Faia, um cara que surfa muito, tenho muito respeito por ele, mas estou feliz por estar nas quartas de final, é isso, agora eu vou com tudo para poder fazer bom resultado aqui no Mundial de Taiwan. Valeu.
There you go, Vi Jefferson. Back up to you guys in the box.
Well, congratulations, Jefferson Silva. And during that interview, there was some phenomenal nose riding from both surfers. Maka De Soto matching Kai Salas's poise on the nose with a really great long 5 and a quick 10 combination. As we can see, a replay of Kai Salas. Wait for this. Bang, there's the 5 and there's the 10. Look at that commitment to the nose riding, throwing in the soul arch. Beautiful surfing from Kai Salas there, Shannon. Wow, that was phenomenal.
Absolutely beautiful. Similar to Honolulu style when she gets into that nose ride where she just feels so comfortable, lets that hand back, throws that little arch in, and he gets that clean kick out. So Kai Salas looking lively, opening up with a 7.77 for his first wave. We do have 2 scores to drop in for Kai. Maka's highest score so far, a 5.17. Waiting for one more for him, and we will have a proper look at what our situation is like.
And Maka's nose riding on that 5.17 was equally exceptional. Really great 5 into a quick 10, another long 5. So knowing that he's going to have to match Kai's nose riding with some committed nose riding himself. The goofy footer against the regular footer. Maka De Soto, the 9-year junior brother of the great 2010 World Longboard champion Dwayne De Soto. He's sponsored by Dahui. He comes from Akaha Beach. He attended previous world events in 2007 in Costa Rica, in 2008 in San Onofre, where he witnessed Bonga Perkins win the World Longboard Championships. He rides Carl Bernhardt, Black Pearl boards, and I know his wife Kimmy will be listening in. She's a famous singer and entertainer back home in Hawaii, and his 9-month daughter, Oh My, I'm sure you'll be listening in, rooting for your father. He's here surfing against Kai Salas, who is also a dad. I know that his kids will be listening in. Kai's kids, Alphon is his wife, and Coral and Sissy are his daughters. So he runs a really great surf school, the Pro Surf School back in Queens at Waikiki. And as far as free surfing goes, there's not really been anybody who has been spending as much time perched on those hang tens as Kai Salas.
Not even a chance. He has been in the water so consistently, and I think that just shows even the reading of that opening wave, the way he went. He almost had like exchange from the wave in front to this little reform that was on the inside. He had so much control and just saw that opening up. That just speaks to the time that he's been spending in the water here. He knows this wave really well. I think that last year being here for the World Longboard Championships would have been his first time here. So he doesn't have years of competitive experience here, but he really has the hours logged in.
And there's that high line, gets 2 steps up, nice solid 10, stays locked in position there. That Takayama go shape by Tommy Moss working beautifully, but look out back here as Maka De Soto gets a really long 5. What a phenomenal nose ride, goes in for the tighter 5, gets the 10. Can he stick with this? He's going to get nice and low. He's going to accelerate off the tail here. Unfortunately takes a slip, but what great surfing here. Maka raising his game to the highest level, because this might be one of the heats of the round.
Wow, this is so exciting. So many tight heats. I love that the surfers are answering each other back once again for our final heat of the day, showing that the conditions are starting to glass off as we see Kai Salas perfectly perched on that hang 10 once again. Complete signature kicks out. I think he's riding that in the peak model from Donald Takayama, and Maka answering straight back. Complete commitment to that hang 5. He has his pressure on his back foot, but then he starts to shift it forward. Gets that little tap almost to the tane. Swings around this section, and that wax almost just fails him.
Perhaps it did fail.
I think that's what happened. The wax failed.
Yeah. Well, the thing about this spot is because it's a cobble spot with lots of silt in the water, you do often need to really kind of, rough up your wax or put a lot more wax on than you normally would. It's very slippy out there. So.
Right. That wax comb is really important here, as well as kind of using that sticky wax. You said that the other day, switching to sticky bumps, something that had that little bit of extra grip and grit to it.
Yeah, that's definitely an important aspect here, is that the water can get a little bit greasy on your wax, but Kai Salas in the lead with a 7.77 and a 5.43. So Maka de Soto has that 5.17 and that 3.4. You'd anticipate that even though he did fall on that turn, that this could either be his highest scoring wave that we're waiting for drop, or certainly something that's going to replace the 3.4. What's your feeling about that, Shannon? Do you think it's going to be higher than his 5.17?
I don't think it will, because he fell at the end, and in my opinion, I don't know that the nose ride was that critical. It was long, he stuck with it for really long, but I don't know how critical it was as far as being in the pocket. Although I'm not a judge, and I'm really thankful that we get to just throw our opinion out here and see what happens.
So live action, Maka de Soto 2 steps up to the nose, gets a nice 5 there, pulls up for the quick 10, and then pedals back to the tail here, rebounds off the foam, setting himself up for another hang 5 there, pulls up tight with his feet again, stays loyal on that long hang 5, looking strong, looking smooth. Our legend from Makaha here, looking for an 8.03, waiting for scores to drop. A 4.77 comes in for that last really good nose ride of Maka de Soto. So it did replace that 3.4, but it wasn't better than his 5.17. Another score waiting to drop. So he now needs an 8.03 to move into the 4th round, as we get those 4 steps to the nose replayed from Kai Salas there. Really great footwork. Kicks out of that. He knows that there's better shaped waves out there, Shannon.
Absolutely. And the replay now from Maka, gets that hang 5, little tap to the 10, comes through this section, but once again it doesn't stay very critical for him when he goes back to that second nose ride. Sticks with that for a really long time, but it's kind of out on the flats there. So nice bowling section on the inside. I like that little wrap around in the pocket. But yeah, we'll see how that kind of factors up next to his 5.17 once again. We do have scores to drop through for Kai and Maka. We can see surfers on the beach still watching Edward, paying close attention. He'll be up against his brother Antoine Del Perro tomorrow, the Del Perro brothers. I don't know that I've ever commentated on a heat, actually, when they've been up against each other.
I've seen them surf against each other in a number of events. They do, they are used to kind of coming up against one another. Often, commonly in the LQS events in Europe, they might be finalists or semi-finalists. So they respect one another's space and strategy and approach. And there will be if they both get through, great. But if one of them doesn't, the other brother who's knocked out will be right behind the brother who's still in. They really do work as a team. And will that go against Piccolo Clemente? Will they kind of work as a team and really rule that heat, or will they just let their surfing do the talking? As these two surfers, good friends from Hawaii, they're battling for a spot in round 4 in that final round 4 heat. Cole Robbins, Jefferson Silva. So let's have a little recap of what's happened so far. There's our master on the nose with a really good soul arch hang 10. This is the 7.77, and you can see why with that beautiful nose work there. Gets a nice reform through the inside, but matching back with a strong stretch 5 there. Maka de Soto, toes on the nose, looking equally good up at the front half of the board. But this actually is the 7.77. So the last wave the first wave we saw of Kai Salas was actually the 5.43. This one a bit more distinctive, bigger and more critical nose ride, ending with that big re-entry. So that's why it went higher than that first wave of the 5.43 that we just saw in the recap. Little lull right now, but 16 minutes 20 seconds remaining. Priority with Kai Salas, and it's De Soto needing that 8.03 to book a spot in round 4.
Very exciting stuff. So 16 minutes left in our day, and we will call it quits, but we'll be back here very early tomorrow morning, most likely a 6:30 a.m. start, as we've had the last few days. I actually hate that decision because I'm not a morning person.
Early bird gets
just
the
in case
worm,
you didn't know
Shannon.
that. But it has been a brilliant call because the wind picks up here. We've had that extra hour in the morning to get those 2 heats going rather than that kind of standard 7:30 call for most events. It's been a really wise decision from our commissioner, and tomorrow opens up the waiting period of the World Junior Championships as well. So more than likely, we'll still just see the longboarding because we have the women's semis and final to run, and then round 4 quarters, semis, and finals of the men. So there's still quite a lot of surfing for the guys to get out of the way, and they'll take priority 100% in the good conditions. But I'm pretty excited to see the juniors get started as well. Maybe if there is a little bit of punch in the surf when it's a little windier, we'll throw those first rounds in the water. The kids have been out here starting to dominate the lineup really for the last maybe 2 days. The longboarders kind of had it to themselves for a few days at the start, but now there is a grommet on every single wave that I have tried to paddle for in the last 2 days of free surfs, and it will be really exciting to see that get underway.
Unprecedented having the World Juniors and the World Longboard Championships both being crowned for 2018 at the Taiwan Open of Surfing at Jinsun Harbour, Taitung. It's a great destination for any surf travellers interested in a little bit of Asian exploration out there, welcoming locals, good variety of spots and delicious food. And this place alone can host quite a variety of surfers because you've got a left point to the north, you've got this A-frame cobblestone break here with rights, lefts, and it shifts so it can house a crowd. And then just to the south you've got the harbour spot, which is a really nice peaky, sometimes hollow right and left, and it blows perfectly offshore on the northeast winds there. So I know that this is somewhere from my experience that I'll always enjoy coming back to because Taiwan really is a welcoming surf destination area, and these 2 surfers have enjoyed being here. I know Kai Salas, his first trip here last year, he loved it. He was very excited about coming back, and he travelled here with a big quiver of boards because he knows that the variety of waves on offer at this time of year can range from small and clean to big and heavy. And certainly in the earlier stage of the event with that big typhoon swell, I think we had 20 longboards broken or creased.
Something like that. I talked to Bebe's husband. I'm blanking on his name now.
Josh Campbell.
Josh Campbell. He said he had 15 boards that were in dire need of being repaired so that surfers could still surf them in the heats within the first 2 days of competition. So he had his hands full. But that's the great thing about this area here in Dongha, which is about an hour's drive up the coast from Taidung City, which is kind of the major city in this area, Taidung County, where we are, at Jinsun Harbor. There's this beautiful little town. Lots of great little accommodation places, a lot of good local food available, and someone to repair your boards when you come here and there is a massive typhoon swell. You are going to be well taken care of.
Yeah, Josh Campbell, Bebe Nui's partner, he's been having a lot of work here. He's a shaper. Bebe Nui, one of the legends of Taiwanese longboarding. She competed in the trials event earlier in the week. So the surfer in the red vest there, Kai Salas, has got a 7.77 and a 5.43. He's in the lead, but De Soto in the blue vest, he just needs that 8.03, which is a score that has been attainable today. We've seen scores go into the excellent range from the likes of Cole Robbins, from the likes of Ben Skindog Skinner. Have there been other surfers who've got scores in the excellent range in that last round?
Just going to take a look at the list here quickly. Definitely coming to mind are those 2, Ben's wave being the highest of the heat so far, and here we have the top 5 on screen. So as of today, there have been 4 of the top 5 waves. Ben Skinner, Cole Robbins, Edward Del Perro, all caught today during round 3.
So let's have a little look at Skindog's 947. It was a smaller wave, but look at the way he uses the stool here to get that really committed hang 10 there. Soul arches and pedals back to the tail, and look at this. This is the turn. Powerful, gouging rail grab, drop knee, slashes out of it, and everything about that said explosive. Traditional maneuver, the drop knee turn, but done with fireworks. Did you not see that live?
That's the first time I've seen that wave because I missed it live. I was just chatting to one of the girls. I tend to get distracted because there's so many great friends here. But you described it to me earlier, and I'm so glad they put that replay up. That was phenomenal.
It was a sizzler.
Wow.
And it was well up into the 9s. But there we go. I mean, it just goes to show that, yes, you can go hard off the rail if you like, but you've got to get those commitments to the nose rides in there. The judge is looking to reward that traditional longboard surfing, use of all of the board, all of the wave, that footwork, flow, control. And if I reference that magical judging criteria that all of the surfers are working towards, it says that Traditional surfing is a key thing here. The surfer must perform controlled maneuvers in the critical section of the wave, utilizing the entire board and wave and using traditional longboard surfing. The surfer who performs this to the highest degree of difficulty with the most style, flow and grace will receive the highest score for a ride. There are a lot of other elements that the judges consider, like nose riding, rail surfing, critical section of the wave, and right now will we see some good footwork, which is an important element of the score from Makeda Soto from Makaha. He kicks out. Commitment is another important thing. Variety, we saw a lot of good variety from Stephen Sawyer, and then speed and power, and of course control. And there was some issues in the heat with Rodrigo Schfeier and Jefferson Silva, where I thought perhaps that Jefferson Silva might have just got the score he needed, but actually I think the judges scored him down because he lacked control, and that was when he got the score in the 5 range when he first needed a 6. But then in that final wave he did get the 6 that he needed. He brought that control back into the game. We saw that a little bit with Kevin Skavana as well. We normally expect everything so fluid, but he was just unable with the wave shape to link things up with the control he needed to bring the scores out of the 5 range and up into the 7s and 8s.
Absolutely. His nose riding was so critical, so many critical hang 10s from him, but just those finishing touches to really put those combinations together.
And talking of control, Honolulu Bloomfield in the women's event was just so fluid. Everything looking so effortless, but any one of those 4 ladies left, Tori Gilkerson, Rachel Tilley, both former world champions, but watch out, Soleil Erico. Is she the favourite for the women's? Has she got the momentum, the energy, or will the lack of experience at being this far in a WSL event play against her?
It's such an interesting one because you could see a second title going to 3 of our competitors. As we have live action, we'll go back to that girls' conversation in just a moment. Hang 5 to hang 10 combination, good tight footwork, smaller little inside wave, but I like this selection. There's a good pocket to it, keeping lots of control.
Really nice wave selection. Really stood up for Maka there. Really nice clean wall. Notice how the wave size didn't deteriorate. It just stayed even the whole way. It had a lot of scoring potential, but looking for an 8.03 to advance into round 4.
Right, so potentially not enough to make that 8.3, but good wave selection. I like that he's keeping busy. Even if he can replace that 5, then you'll have a smaller requirement and a little bit easier to pick at things in order to come back against Kai Salas.
So let's have a look at this. 2 steps to the nose, sets it up. See how that wave really cleans up on the face there. Comes hard off the bottom here. Sets himself up for another nose ride. Still the wave as big as it was when he took off. So great wave selection, great read, great line, but I doubt it'll be the 8 that he needs to move into first possession, but it might well add to one of his counting scores. Is it going to replace that 4.77? He's got a 5.17, looking to drop that 4.77, but needing an 8 with just under 8 minutes remaining. Kai Salas in the lead, and we were talking earlier about someone who's really set the event ablaze, and that's Soleil Erico. For me, it's been the sensation of the contest. It's been absolute pleasure to watch the speed, the variety and the flow, and doing a lot of coaching with 3-time longboard champion Taylor Jensen really paying off. But right now it's Kai Salas with a perched hang 10 there, pedaling back to the tail. Look at the control here. Beautiful sweeping drop knee turn there, throwing a little bit of a spray. Wow, how was that footwork up to the 10 and back to the tail, and everything afterwards flowing, composed, making a statement. Surely that's going to replace his 5.43.
Absolutely. So 7 minutes on the clock. Going back to the girls, I just realized Soleil Erico is 17 years old. If she is able to pull the absolute shocker of the event and take the world title, which I wouldn't put it past her, she has been completely on fire, as you said, she would tie with Rachel Tilley as the youngest competitor, the youngest surfer to ever win a world title. So I guess then it would go back to what month they were born in and those sorts of things. But that's pretty exciting to think that someone that young has had that good of an experience here. And I almost feel like she's got so much excitement in the fact that she just made it this far. The fact that she qualified herself by making it into the quarters, is now into the semis against 3 former world champions, 2 from Southern California, the same area that she's in, 1 from Hawaii, who has got to be one of the girls that she studies to the T on finesse of surfing, being Honolulu Bloomfield. But Soleil could have that underdog factor of just having almost been so excited to make it that far that whatever else happens is okay, and where that could just walk her into a world championship.
Look at this beautiful hang 10 from Kai Salas there. Look at the rising of that board. Everything about this Takayama board has been designed to facilitate those hang 10s with that teardrop concave in the nose, that wide outline, those soft rails sharpening in the tail there. It looks to be the in the pink model with that square tail, but notice the way how the board lifted up as he perched on the nose. Great surfing from Kai Salas, waiting for scores to drop. Maka De Soto with that 5.17 and that 5.23 now needs a 7.97, so that last score coming in for Maka did go into his top 2, is his highest scoring ride. So now with 5 minutes 37 seconds remaining, he needs a 7.97, but we're waiting to see if Kai Salas' last score is going to replace his 5.43. I think it might well do that.
Very well could. There's his brother, Dwayne De Soto, paying close attention to what is happening in the lineup. Exciting times, the brother duo. 2 brother duos at this event.
So 5 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. Dwayne De Soto watching his younger brother, Maka De Soto, here, looking for a place in round 4 at the World Longboard Championships. We've already got 2 semi-finalists lined up for the women. We've already got 3 round 4 heats all sealed. We're just waiting to decide who goes into that 4th round 4 heat against Cole Robbins from California and Jefferson Silva from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Other round 4 heats include Phil Rasman, Stephen Sawyer and Harley Ingleby. And the second one is Tony Silvani, Ben Skinner and Taylor Jensen. And the third one, Edward and Antoine Del Piero and Piccolo Clemente. Priority with De Soto. But is Kai going to sneak this one from out of priority? Looks like he's got a nice wall ahead. Shannon, what do you think of this one?
Smaller wave selection, but that one before stood up so well on the inside. Kai maintaining a little bit of, gets a little bit of a speed wobble almost there on the nose. He'll know that that's not going to factor into his top scores. You can see Kira Sill, Kristen Jones sitting on the beach cheering on. They're just waiting to see if something will come through. So those... Oh, I was just realized, right, it's both Hawaiians. I was going to say they're cheering for the Hawaiian in the water. Well, there's 2 Hawaiians in the water.
And here we go, live action. De Soto in blue needs an 8.07 now because score just dropped for Kai Salas. But look at that beautiful 5 there, really long nose ride. He's going flying through this section and he's locked in the pocket the whole way. This is critical, committed surfing from the Makaha legend. Big sweeping turn there, sets himself up for another 5. Can he just hang on to this and keep things clean? Is he going to end with a nice statement turn there? Is the one more little section? He's right onto the inside here. He's milking this for everything it's worth. Strong surfing and the Hawaiian contingency clapping there. You've got some Australians and some Americans. There's a lot of camaraderie here. Everybody supporting good longboarding, and we saw some great surfing, a great exchange. 4 steps to the nose from Salas there. There's the 5, there's the 10. Moves back with his foot stretched over the middle of the board there, just coming out of that foamy section. No need to continue on that, but watch this, Shannon. How good is this hang 5?
Absolutely beautiful. Like you said, right in the pocket the entire time. Absolute critical surfing. Love that he's kind of almost doing that stretch 5, but he's still keeping it nice and critical. And then keeps things extremely smooth here. Keeps himself in the mix by going to the nose once again, but he doesn't lose control. He doesn't lose any composure, just rides out of this with absolute finesse as he comes through to the inside and gets that nice stylish kick out. Here we go. So scores to come through. He's requiring an 8.07 to take the lead away from Kai Salas.
So live action, Kai Salas on a really nice wall there, gets a nice 5. There's the 10, arms up above his head, pedals back to the middle there, gets a nice feet position to do a sweeping turn and set himself up, looking to see if there's another steep section where he can lock that fin in. Nice drop knee turn. Is there going to be one more 5? There's the 5. Is it going to be the 10? There's the 10. Pedals back to the tail and does a little switch stance turn. Kai Salas looking electric here with just under 2 minutes to go. That was really strong surfing from Kai. He's in the lead. Maka De Soto still waiting for a score to drop though on what was a really sensational long hang 5.
Absolutely, but Kai Salas is not going to let this one go easily. We still have 1 minute 45 seconds on the clock. 2 big scores to come through. All the pressure is on in this dying minute. Look at that beautiful hang 10 right in the pocket, right in the curl, the lip of the wave. Nice little cruisy cutback, sets himself up for this second nose ride.
Was a little drop knee there first.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, there was the drop knee, and then this one, there's the 5, and then, hey presto, there's the 10, right through to the inside, and a little switch stance turn there, and I love the body language to keep his balance. Kai Oh, it's such a phenomenal longboarder. A pleasure, always a pleasure to watch Kai Salas, and still chasing that elusive world title. Will this finally be his year? We saw him crowned ISA World Longboard Champion in January in Ryubei in China, but will Taiwan be the place to finally give him that WSL World Longboard title? Because gosh, does he deserve it.
Oh, I would love to see Kai win it. Not only is his surfing absolutely top notch, he is one of the most lovely people on the beach. He's always up for a good conversation, great to connect with and share what's going on back home, what he's feeling about the water and the waves, and just a really pleasant person all around. So he would be an excellent representative to hold the World Longboard Championship title. And just a really good representative for our sport overall. So with 20 seconds on the clock, Sam, we're still waiting for those scores to come in from that last exchange.
We still are. Maka DeSoto, he had a great heat in round 2, knocking out Ned Snow in a really close run affair, and that was a really nice performance from Maka DeSoto, but he's just dropped a 5.3, so it's not enough, and we're into the last seconds as Maka DeSoto gets one more opportunity to go for that 8 on this left-hander, runs to the nose, pedals back to the tail, gets a nice sweeping cut back there, back up for one more hang 5, but I think wave size and scoring opportunity is not going to be the 8 that he needs, so Kai Salas progresses into the 4th round, living on the nose on that Donald Takayama board, and really interested to see some of the highlights of what has been a great heat, and what a pleasure to see Maka DeSoto surfing. I know that his wife Kimmy, who's a singer entertainer back home, she'll be watching, and the 9-month-old Omai, I know that she'll be watching, and it's really great to see both the DeSotos here at the World Longboard Championship.
Oh, such an exciting thing to see those brother combos, to see the Del Perro brothers here, to see the different countries coming together, that Hawaiian finish to the day. Kai Salas taking it through, could potentially be the world champion this year.
This has been just a massive day of longboarding, and Kai Salas living on the nose there, but other big names, Steven Sawyer looking very good, Ben Skinner looking very good, the Del Perro brothers, the Peruvians, the Brazilians. There's so many people playing for the world title, and of course with the women we've got the likes of Soleil Erico, Honolulu Bloomfield, and the Californians Rachel Tilley and Tori Gilkison, both going for their 2nd world title.
Such exciting stuff. So make sure to tune in tomorrow morning. We'll be back bright and early, most likely running with the longboarders, but we do have the World Junior Championships with their opening waiting period starting tomorrow morning, so make sure to tune back in, and we will see you then.
Thanks very much.
写什么？你看什么？你妈赶快啊！混啊！你写3天，我改8、7次，是不是不想看啊？
有一种爽，交给老板一巴掌。爽皮 So Beer。
国内的青少年好像有些选手已经下水了，做热身的准备。明天上午6点或6点半的时间。